Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to a Thursday night paint and chill stream. My good friend George will be joining us shortly. He's running a little behind. Grandma was going to be here, but she's not feeling well. So let's all send out some some positive vibes for her. Hopefully, she'll be well enough to join us next week. I know she was looking forward to hanging out with us as always. So for tonight, I'm going to show some of my personal basic starting painting tips and techniques, things I always do. A couple of things, if you're going to be painting along with us, you might want to grab them. I should have done this beforehand. Got to go over and get them. These are one of the most important pieces of free equipment I can recommend for anybody out there. They're just basic brown napkins from your local favorite restaurant, Jack in the Box, and a few other stores out here hand them out regularly. I think Del Taco and maybe Carl's Jr. Other places they'll give you white napkins. White they'll work in a pinch, but as you'll see as we go along, they're not ideal when it comes to for dry brushing. Basically, let me show you. When you want to wipe the paint off your brush on a napkin or a paper towels would be better, but I don't know anywhere to get brown paper towels. But as you can see, this one, I've used it a bunch, and yeah, wiping off the paint off the brush. But what's great about the brown ones is most of the time, especially when we're doing zenithal highlighting, which is one of the beginner techniques I'm going to show off for those of you who aren't aware of it. There's other ways to do it. This is the way I do it so that I don't make a mistake. Because if you use an airbrush or a rattle can, if you make a mistake, it's a big mistake. With a dry brush, it's less of a mistake. The smaller the stroke, the smaller the mistake kind of theory. But with the brown paper towel, when you're using white, and if you're using a white napkin, you really can't see how much paint is coming off your brush. Let's see who we've got in the chat here real quick. Hey, what's up, Mobius? Welcome to the show. Let me do this thing. So when you're doing, take your dry brush. I'm going to talk a little bit about dry brushes as well. And you're wiping the paint off. You can see on the brown brush, because the contrast in the brown paper towel, you can see how much white paint is coming off. And when you get to a certain point that you're comfortable with, okay, only that much paint is coming off, then when you go to dry brush or zenithal highlight, in this case, the miniature, you can see and get a better idea of how much paint is going to come off on the miniature. And you really, when you're doing this, you really don't want a lot of paint to come off, because you can always go back and hit it a couple more times. But if you leave too much paint on your brush and then you hit the miniature, you can leave a lot of paint, and then you just have to start all over. And that comes to one of my next tips, is a clean glass of water. Not for painting or cleaning your brushes, believe it or not, but say you do that and you make a mistake and you put too much paint on the miniature. Well, you take a clean paintbrush and you get it wet, really, really, really wet, and then you go and hit that dab of paint that you just accidentally put somewhere until that paint gets saturated with water to the point where your paintbrush will pick up that paint you just put down. We call it a mistake brush, or at least that's what my son and I have always called it. And that way you can erase the paint that you just put on the miniature. If for some reason you put the wrong color or too much, or you overbrushed onto an area where you don't want the paint, you can basically sponge it back up off the miniature. Mobius, we're just talking some beginner painting tips. My friend George and RPG Grandma and some other folks out there are just getting into painting, or getting back into painting for the first time. I'm hoping to get the Dungeon Minister on the show as well, because he's still kind of a noob painter, but he's doing his Clericon thing right now, and I didn't want to bug him. And so having a mistake brush handy, and for a mistake brush, any old brush will work. To do it just enough to just saturate that paint you just put on there, and you want to get that as quick as possible, because If you wait, it'll dry, and then the only way to cure that is to paint over it with the original color, which could very well be impossible because of how late in the stage you are of painting, or you know, trying to cover it up with something else. But if you've got a handy, second glass of paint, a glass of water, to drop your brush in, get some water on it, scrub it away, soak it up, wipe it off on a paper towel, you can fix that mistake. Now, for dry brushing, there's a lot of different brushes you can use. Most people will tell you either go with your crappiest brush that's all ratty. See, like this one here, I've got. You can see it's kind of seen better days. It used to be a flat edge, but now it's just trashed, all fuzzy at the end. That'll make a great dry brushing brush. Or you can go to your local dollar store and get some makeup brushes, and those will work for terrain because they're usually quite big. I've got one right here, something like that. That's great for doing terrain. But if you're going to use this, you're going to want to get something like a Pringles lid. Here, let me show you with one of these. Something like this that's got that's pretty deep. And instead of using the paper towel to wipe off the paint, what you're going to end up doing is wasting a crap ton of paint. You take your dry brush and you scrape off as much paint onto like this edge, and it'll pool down here, and then you can use that paint the next time you go around. But scrape it off. You got to be careful because this can actually scrape off too much paint. It's that effective that it will, really pull off. Yes, right. You're not a full fledged official painter if you have not drank from your paint cup at least once. But then after you've scraped off the excess paint on a larger brush, then you can hit it on the napkin to see how much paint is being applied to the paper towel. So you'll have an idea of how much paint is going to go on the miniature. Another trick I learned a while ago is, say you've done all the things, right? And you're getting ready to paint the miniature, you dry brush it. What I'll do is take this for example. It's actually a Dungeons and Lasers clear plastic. But what I'll do is I'll tip the miniature upside down and I'll paint the bottom of the base to get a really, really good idea of how much paint is going to come off when you do it. Just give it a couple of, swipes and go, oh, okay, that's still too thick. Then do all the steps, or, we'll go back to the paper towel and, see how much you can get off, because there's nothing worse than dry brushing and getting too much paint on your miniature. But that's why I recommend using a small brush, something like this, if it's like a human-sized miniature. But ideally, the best brushes you can ever get, or at least the best ones I've come across, are Artist Opus. But those are about $35 a piece. Or you can go with Army Painter's Masterclass dry brush set. It's got 3 brushes for I think $25, and depending on where you go, you may be able to. Thanks, Cal. You might be able to get them cheaper. When they first came out, they were $14.99 from Miniature Market, and I've got 3 sets. This one's never been opened, and I'm saving it for when these other 3 are no longer good. Now, I want you to focus, guys. This is what makes these brushes, or any dry brushing miniature, work so well, is you licked off the extra paint. I know you're not serious. Okay, you see this shape? You can find makeup brushes that are this shape, but it's this specific rounded here and here shape that really make the difference. I buy cheap brushes too, but when it comes to these brushes, I'm willing to spend the money because the effect has just been great. Now, it comes with 3 sizes, and this one's beat to hell. You can see, where's my camera? It's no longer round, it's actually getting a point to it. But this is what I would actually use on a miniature that you really want to do your best job with, for the the nooks and crannies and things like that. Because sometimes, like with a big miniature like this, there were lots of hard to reach places that I still wanted to do the Zenithal on it because I painted this black and then I dry brushed the heck out of it with white. Yeah, it's a conglomeration of all all kinds of weird creature parts. But you can go to places like AliExpress or Timu or things like that and find these exact brushes just without the Army Painter logo. Who knows? They might even have that on them because they're getting them from China, and I'm sure these are made in China. One of these days, Santa Claus is going to bring me some Artist Opus brushes, and I'll do a comparison with them. Uh, you get Echo Tools makeup brushes at Target. You had to fight the girls for them. Right? Whenever I go into Walmart, because I don't shop at Target, um, I can't find any good makeup brushes. And even then, at Dollar Tree or used to be the 99-cent store or any other dollar cheap store like that, they're usually there's usually not a lot to choose from. But every once in a while, you get lucky and you'll find some. Or you can just make your own dry brushes by, wrecking a good old paintbrush that you've been using for years or weeks or months or whatever. This one got to this stage after about 2 months of painting, but I was using it as a dry brush before it was trashed, so that was part of it. But any brush could become a dry brush if you don't take care of it or you just let it, especially like if you're only paying 35 50 cents for the brush, it doesn't really matter. And I'll do a special video later on cleaning brushes. I'm not going to do that for now. For the most part, the number one rule with painting, and I know it's hard, even I still struggle with this. I'm sure Cal has mastered this little technique, but okay. You see the metal part and you see the brush, the bristle. You never want that paint to get into where the metal meets the bristles. Because what happens is that paint gets in there and it'll dry, and then your brush will start to flower, as we call it. And when that happens, you turned a good brush into pretty much a dry brush because it's going to start splaying out. And, you know, yes, I do the thing. Most brushes come in a specific shape, but that paint is drying and expanding and spreading out the bristles. This metal part here, the ferrule, actually, you notice how it's in a sort of an angled shape, comes to a taper because where it crimps here, it's designed to crimp those bristles in that particular shape, whatever that shape may be, and the dry paint gets in there and says, "Nope, don't care. We're going over here." Yeah, licking the brush out. Just to get that point back. Everybody does it, or everybody I ever knew who painted. Even my mom, who did oil paintings. If the point is stopping, or no longer pointy, then the moisture and the pressure of your lips pulling it together will make it do the thing. Another tip, while we're at, little tips before George gets here and I can show him some Zenithal and dry brushing. Never leave your brush in the water, but just a few seconds. Try to just keep it to the top, wiggle it out, squeeze it along the sides of the cup, that sort of thing. Now, they make some brush cleaners that will suspend your brush like this in the cup of water so that it never touches the bottom of the cup. Because if you look, I'll let you like that. What happens? The brush is bending. That's how you get curly brushes, which, believe it or not, I sometimes actually like having those brushes because they're great to get in around angles. But it's generally considered bad form, a bad habit to get into, leaving your brushes, especially like overnight or in something besides just pure water, rubbing alcohol, things like that. You will come back and all your brushes will be painting, turning left or right, and you really don't want that, right, Cal? Do you have one of those paint cups that suspends the brushes? I got one. I don't know where it is. I saw someone using one, and I'm like, I need that. I got it, and then I stopped painting downstairs. And when I came up here to the studio to start painting, uh, I misplaced it somewhere. You're not wrong there, Cal. If you want to come on in, Cal, I'll send you the link. Hey, what's up, Off Grid? I have one of those cups made by Viejo. Yeah, I got some cheesy Chinese knockoff I got from Amazon, uh, and it works fine. It's got like a sort of a spiral metal handle that's perfect to fit the paintbrushes in and suspend them just in the liquid, whatever you use. There's some things you could use besides water. Rubbing alcohol is one of them. LA's Awesome is another one, but those stronger chemicals, you just lay them down. Yeah, uh, but how do you clean them? Do you like clean them later using the brush soaps and things like that, or you just drop them in the cup and say, "We'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully they'll be clean." I used to do that. I did that for up until a couple of years ago, but I for a while it was hard to get paintbrushes for me, so I had to be very very careful. And I've always had a spendthrifty, not spendthrifty, a thrifty uh, outlook on all my supplies and all my equipment. If you take care of your tool will take care of you, kind of thing. Uh, and sometimes it was really really hard to get the brushes that I wanted, and they were expensive until I found the right package of brushes that I really enjoyed. And then unfortunately, not Walmart, Hobby Lobby stopped carrying them.
Hey,
Hey George, welcome to the show.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Oh, great.
And,
Okay,
and
I'm
you
doing
missed
this with my phone.
and you missed all my tips. I'm done. Now we're just going to talk about chill for the rest of the evening.
Oh, cool. I'll watch us Squidmar.
Fuck that guy. I hate that guy. He's such a.
Yeah,
But
he's a piece
anyway,
of work.
it was only a couple of minutes, and I was just talking about some basic things, and I'll end up going over them
Okay.
again. What do you got? What do you got for us tonight in the way of something you want to paint?
Well, I got a couple of minis. Let's see here. Sadly, I don't have my regular setup here, so
It's okay.
let's see. I have I got these minis from online. They were pretty cheap. Um, $17 for 15 minis,
Not
and
bad.
yeah. So there's this guy. I did this guy in black
Okay, perfect.
as well. And I did this. This is actually an FDM print that I
Okay.
made for one of the other players in my live OSE game, in real life OSE game. So I want to do an experiment, see if how this guy comes out.
And nothing, Cal. I'll tell you about it later. I don't want to, he means well, but he was being kind of a jerk to me because he was offering to do something for people if they would pay. I wanted something done, and then he told me, I'll do anything but that. And I'm like, really? It's money. What do you care? And to be honest, if he had done it, he literally would have been like big time famous for a minute had he done the thing, and I would have paid him $100 or more to do the simple thing that I wanted. I'd paid for it all. Hey, what's up, Huey? But he's like, no, not doing that because political reasons. Let's just say, but that was years and years ago. That was like 4 or 5 years ago now. But anyways, so
Yeah,
did you get some brown napkins?
could not find any.
Oh,
So
really?
I got some paper that's a little like ivory colored
Okay,
and some
that's
regular napkins.
okay. That'll work.
Oh, another thing I have is some stuff I've 3D printed furniture.
Okay,
That's those. I think that would be fine with an FDM print because they have
sure.
that. It's supposed to look like wood, so there'll be striations
Yeah,
in
it's
the
funny.
thing.
We have this barrel. It's one of Jackie's favorite pieces of ephemera
Yeah,
from the game. It was a 3D printed barrel, but because it was 3D printed, it had all the little grains in it and stuff. And he'll
yeah.
just play with this for, you know, forever if I don't take it away from him. And I keep it there. We'll never paint it because he was just so
I,
impressed by it. Mind you, this was years ago, and he just sort of kept the joke running. Hey, Squirrel, what's happening, man? Man, those. Can I show those things you showed me earlier? He was showing me some work photos, and he's got a crazy ass job, but just wow, just that takes a certain kind of fortitude that I don't know that I have. Uh, because I'm lazy. Spoiled rotten is really what it is. So we're going to start with the basics. Grab yourself a black miniature.
Mhm.
Get yourself some white paint. Now, do you have any of these popper things? These fidget
no,
popper?
but I did make myself a wet palette.
Okay. Okay. Well, with the zenithal highlighting, you may not really need that. The wet
Mhm.
part may actually not be a good idea. So maybe just
Okay.
squirt a little bit of paint on the parchment paper you got there. That'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I got some little pallets, little plastic pallets.
Okay. Did you see the tip about the Pringles lids?
I missed that one.
Okay. I'll probably have to send you a crap ton of them. 'Cause I literally have hundreds of them. I save all my Pringles lids so that when you put your paintbrush in the white paint, right?
Mhm.
Depending on the size of the brush and what you're doing, you may want to scrape the paint off into the lid off the edge here, so you don't waste that paint if that's an issue for you, or
Oh, okay.
especially if you're using a big brush like this to do like terrain, you will put too much paint on it no matter what you think, and you can
Yeah.
scrape that off on the Pringles lid or something like this, and then not waste that paint, but also not ruin what you're painting by putting too much paint on the actual miniature. Now you have to eat Pringles. There's other things that come in those containers, or you can get the big things, M&Ms, which or anything with a lid like this. Cal, you smart ass, will work. But like if you're using a little brush like this, there's no need for that. You just do the regular thing, wipe it off on the paper until just a little bit of paint is coming off. Because if you hit the miniature and too much paint comes off on it when you're dry brushing it, you don't want that because that defeats the purpose of what the zenithal highlighting does. And what it does um, is okay. You've got a black miniature, and you just dry brush the heck out of it until it looks like a ghost. You can just see the nooks and crannies are black, and the raised areas are white, so that whatever color you put on there, the paint that goes into those nooks and crannies will be darker. It'll still probably be that color, but it'll be darker because of the black primer. Just like when they primer a car, if they, that's why there's gray, white, and black. If the paint, like the color, they would probably use a white primer on a car that was going to be painted yellow or red or a bright, warm color like that. But if it's going to be like a blue or a green, they might use black primer. If it's a black paint job, you can probably bet it's going to be black or gray primer. What's up, Mini Warmut? Peanut butter lid jar will work. Uh, Very common as well. For a while I was
Oh,
saving every lid possible because another great thing
yeah.
about these lids, like a lid like this or even a Pringles lid, if you're scratch building or creating some monster out of army men or something, you turn it upside down or the other way, and you've got a base. You can fill the lid with clay or dirt and sand and put your miniature on there, and you've got a homemade base. Or if you're doing a diorama, you could use one of these larger lids and fill it with clay, then put your sand and your rocks and stuff, and then paint it black, and you've got a free. Because finding a miniature base this big is not easy and it's not cheap, but this is free essentially, unless you're buying the M&Ms just for the lid, in which case yeah, don't you
All right.
toasted peanut
Yeah, I
butter?
like.
The,
So
the
what?
Pringles ones are nice because of the specific size was very good, very comparable to like I want to say like 52 or I don't know. Where's my ruler? These are, oh gosh, they're about 75 millimeter across. What's up, Rooster? Hey, wait a minute. That's you.
Yeah.
Screw
I
glue, form,
because
painting tray. That works.
I'm running the restream through my phone, so I can't really see very well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're going to want to be able to see just, painting by braille is not going to work, or just by ear. And that's what we literally, my son and I called dry brushing in the beginning, was painting by braille. Because if you do it, when you get the technique down, you could literally dry brush the miniature and not even look at it, right?
Yeah, so I saw some videos like about that stuff. It was like kind of flicking a downward motion. And you take like I'm not sure what kind of brush to use, but I have like kind of square ones
Do you have any
and
brushes
some.
that are jacked up and old and frayed?
Uh, yeah, but they usually got a lot of paint on them.
Okay, because if you use like a
Oh, that's
brand
pretty bad.
new, okay, if you use a brand new brush
Hmm.
and to dry brush, you will ruin that brush by the end of this video,
Oh, okay.
because you're going to be rough. You're going to literally, hold on a second. I got some sort of conversation going on in the hallway, because you're going to scrub that miniature to,
Yeah, of course there's a conversation going on in the hall. By the way, this isn't a hallway. Why on earth would you call this a hallway?
what do you
There's
call
nothing
it?
hall or way about this
It's the
hallway.
landing. It's the area between
It's
the
the top of the stairs. And
The
I'm
liminal
standing
space.
at the bottom of the stairs. It's only
that's my
natural.
boy who thinks he knows everything.
Yes,
Come
I
say
do.
hi.
Hello.
Guaranteed way to get him to run away. Come on in here. I'm out of here. But yeah, when because you're going to scrub that miniature with the dry brush, with the paint on it, because you're literally trying to get all the paint off that you've wiped off.
Hmm.
Okay? And to get into those nooks and crannies, you don't want to be gentle about. You don't want to break the miniature, but you're not going to be gentle with a regular paint stroke. You're going to scrub it, and you can go back and forth. You can just go straight down. You can go straight up or sideways, whatever it takes for that particular miniature. Because saying always go one way or the other, depending on, like, if you're doing some OSL, which is object source lighting, and you really want it to look like the sun's beating down, then yeah, you would make all your strokes downward. But you know, eh, since we're talking about probably fantasy miniatures, skeletons, and orcs and things like that, the light's coming from who knows where,
Yeah.
and we're not we're not trying for a golden demon award or anything like that. We're just trying to get paint on minis to make them look as nice as possible without spending 20 hours on an orc. Okay. Um, just to,
Yeah.
you've got to practice and learn these things, and as time goes by you'll get better, and you'll be like, man, where's that LA's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
stripping all my old minis and I'm going to start over. I've done it, and that's why I never clear coat a mini, because I'm still learning how. And if I decided like this mini, like this mini looks like crap, I'm just gonna throw it in the goop and start over. You can. LA's awesome won't harm the miniature unless you're stripping metal minis, in which case do one mini at a time and wait for all the paint to come off, and wait for that LA's awesome to settle, and then pour off the top area and leave the last centimeter of liquid, because I made this mistake where I put some lead minis in with some pewter minis, and the LA's awesome as a citrus degreaser, and the citrus acid was literally electroplating one miniature with the other miniature. So my lead miniatures
Ah.
were being dissolved, and they were coating the tin or pewter miniatures, and they were turning black, and my other miniatures were literally decomposing or being pulled apart at a molecular level, and they were getting pitted and awful. Yeah, just don't do that. But for plastic, it won't even harm the super glue, or if you're using what is it, a PVA glue, it won't, not PVA, what the heck is this stuff? model glue, the stuff that melts the plastic together. It won't hurt it. It'll take the stuff off gentle, and you can literally just sit there and kind of watch it over the course of a couple of weeks or days or whatever, and the paint will come off. So give me a close up of the brush you were talking about.
I'll use this one.
Okay,
It's a
perfect,
little,
perfect.
and I got a whole jar. So, pretty good.
One thing I will advise against, those brushes you get with the watercolor set where the bristle is actually plastic.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of those. I knew not to get those.
No, good. Okay,
Yeah, they're.
now this wants to come in. Okay, come on in, come on in, you fuzzy bastard.
Have you guys seen the video of the streamer shocking his dog? Says he didn't,
Um,
but
it
he
kind
did.
of and not. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, yeah. He's like one of those socialist bread tuber types. That's what they want. They want shock color everybody.
Yeah, you know what, Cal? I've seen your work. You probably do get better in other ways. Maybe not, to your eyes, thinking that it's better, but you're bypassing old mistakes and you're learning from those mistakes and doing things. And maybe you've developed a system of like for me, if I squirt red on my palette, I go through everything on my table looking for stuff that needs red, and when the red's gone, then I'll go to the next color because I'm cheap and don't like wasting paint. I see people just go, crap ton of paint on their palette, and okay, you just squirt it away like $3-4 worth of paint, and for me, like it'll take if I want a specific color of paint, it's going to take me a week if I'm lucky to get it in the mail and on my table. So I may have to paint or do other things while I'm waiting, and that's a drag. So
So I
I
got.
don't wasting anything. And right now, I'm buying all my stuff from Gnomish Bazaar because they're in California. They're close. They got great deals, and it's nothing but paint and paint supplies. They might have minis. I don't know. I never looked, but it had colors that I was looking for and couldn't find elsewhere. So let's squirt some paint on your palette. And since you're using a
I got
little
some.
brush, I would just go ahead and use the napkin first. Wipe off as much as you can.
Do I need to wet the brush first or anything?
No, the paint's wet, and you actually probably don't want it to be wet from water because that'll make the paint saturate with the water, and then it'll go into places you don't want it. So just a little dab
Ah,
of paint, then wipe it off on the napkin, and then wipe it off a little on the paper, and see how much is there. And then one of the other tricks I was telling people about before you actually hit the miniature, turn it upside down and paint a little on the bottom side of the base to see how much paint is coming off on the base. Is it thick? Is it a lot? If it's just barely anything, that's what you want because even if you wipe that brush on the paper towel, 20 times, you'll still have paint on the brush inside the bristles, and that's what we're actually working with is not just what you see on the outside, but what's on the inside. Just you know you know brush the miniature and focus on trying to get the paint only on the raised areas. Some's obviously going to get on the arms and the legs, things like that. But don't try real hard to get into the nooks and crannies, the armpits, the crotch, things like that, because that's where you want natural shadow to exist. Even if you're going to paint it, with another color, the black being there will make whatever color you paint darker, maybe even imperceptibly so to your eyes, but it will do that. It will make that paint darker, and as you do the other steps, it will be more uh, apparent that that's what's happening. Now, where's my white paint? I just had some. I'm gonna do a little. Should I? Okay, guys, I got this big giant uh, plastic snake from dollar store. It's actually a skeleton of a snake, and I'm going to try and use it to make like the crate dragon skeleton in on Tatooine. When C-3PO and R2 are walking through the desert and they see that skeleton off in the distance. I was going to make a piece of terrain using this skeleton, or I could. Where did I put it? Oh, or I've got the old Battle Masters little tower, and both of them need this exact process, which is the Zenithal highlight. But I'm going to go with the Battle Masters tower, just because I think it'll be easier for George to get an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to use a little bit larger dry brush. That looks like that looks like your last cat. Yeah, Jackie wants a cat, but he and I are both very, very allergic to cats, and I'm not paying to clean up, cat litter and that sort of thing. I don't like. I don't even like my dog enough to do that for him. He goes out in the backyard and he finds a place, and chances are I'm just going to hit it with the lawnmower. I'm kidding. Every once in a while, I'll miss it, but Okay, so dry brush. I've taken off, I think, a significant amount of paint, and I'm going to go. I am going to go down and up because I took off a little bit too much paint, and I'm impatient. Yeah, there we go. That's better. You ever buy Halloween decorations, George, or folks
Yeah,
out that are like black, and you can see that they just dry brushed over it with like silver or white paint, like skulls and things like that. That's all we're doing here, and you can see already. All I did was dry brush, but see how you can see the individual rocks and bricks of the wall.
yeah,
That's all I did. I just a dry brush, and it already looks like I painted all the little black nooks and crannies. I didn't do that. I just dry brushed it, and then that's this technique when you get it down. I've painted miniatures. You guys have seen me paint things that people are like, oh, you're done. I'm like, no, all I did was zenithal it. Yeah, but it looks great. I'm like, wait till I put some color on it, okay? Because it does have a really professional look to it just by doing this one thing that makes it look like you did something really difficult by painting all the nooks and crannies and getting in there and not getting paint where it doesn't belong. And no, just this good old fashioned, beginner level technique of dry brushing the heck out of it properly. Even if you do it wrong, you can always touch it up later with whatever color you're going to put over it, or a wash, which we'll get into probably next week. Did you get any washes, George?
yeah. I got the I don't know if they're technically washes, the army paint stuff, the speed paints.
No, the speed paints are not a wash, but we'll see what we can do to get you some washes. Because we should actually do the next step, which is rarely washes. Sometimes people will, like, they'll take this, what I've done here, and then they'll give it a wash of black so that make sure that black goes into all the nooks and crannies. But yeah, after the dry brush, you definitely want to let it sit for a while. That's why we're going to work on a couple of. Yeah, I since I'm doing something really big, squirrel, I don't need my readers or a magnifier or anything like that. I used to have one. My wife got me a freaking
These
microscope.
are like $6 at Harbor Freight.
Yeah. I used to have one of those. I was walking through my neighborhood with one of those, and this neighbor of mine says, "Oh, what do you got there?" And I showed him like, "Oh, let me guess, that's for looking at the crystals on your weed." I'm like, no, man, I don't give a shit about that. Even when I did, I didn't. Ooh, you know, break out the microscope. She got me a freaking microscope, not an electron microscope, but an electric microscope with lights and all this. And I'm like, unless I'm painting like 6 and 10 mil squirrel, I don't need a freaking microscope. And then you got to learn how to paint without seeing what you're doing because you're,
Yeah.
going through the peephole or the whatever it's called, the aperture of the microscope. It's funny because she got me one from her work, and Jackie brought one home from school this week. It was like that was like 2 years ago. I'm never gonna use it. Never. Just
I am going to look for my headphone because
you can't hear a word
no,
I'm saying.
no, these are like they're about
Dying.
to they're like battery powered.
Yeah, a friend of mine
But I did paint the one
has.
mini. Let it dry. I might even paint another. One of the things is I did though, when I bought these minis, I did that process where you do a spray paint.
Okay, if you're comfortable with that, you can do that. But I've always because I live in the desert and I never know
Hmm.
what's going to come out of my spray can. You know,
Yeah,
so I've tried it and I just couldn't master it for whatever reason. And with this, with a hand dry brushing, um, I never make a big mistake.
this
20
guy.
bucks,
Yeah, it's pretty dry over here, and it came out very speckly.
right?
I got this
And
is
that's
actually
good
a little
though.
bit bigger, like a bust. This guy came out really cool though.
Like this squirrel. You talking about something like this, or are you talking something else? I don't recognize the name. The Yocto Sun. I never wear that because it just makes my freaking head sweaty. And you do the airbrush. I have a really good airbrush. Well, relatively good. I just it's so crowded in my garage. It's just like I just never
Yeah,
wanted to.
I wonder if that's better than like a rattle can.
Oh,
Or like,
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. A good airbrush is next level. But I find that when teaching things like this, that you need to know the hard way, or you can understand and appreciate what's great about a better brush like an airbrush. Uh, you know, uh, just see kind of baby steps because you could buy the expensive 150 $250 airbrush and then realize this hobby ain't for me. I don't have the time, and then you're stuck with an airbrush that you might never use, and good luck selling it. But
yeah,
if you're only like 50 $100 into the hobby and you decide, you know what, I'd love to do this but I just don't have the time, or I don't like it, I'll just buy pre-painted miniatures, or any number of other reasons why this may not be your bag, then it's better to little steps. Do I like it? Am I having fun? you know do I have the time? Can I afford it? Because there's a lot of reasons why not to do it, and only a few reasons to do this. You love the miniatures, you love the painting, you love the process, you love being able to just sit back, listen to some tunes, and do something, crafty like and productive. Uh, yeah, I have I think I have a badger. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a badger. I got mine from Hobby Lobby for about $150 a couple of years ago. It's still perfectly viable, but I don't have anywhere to set up a booth for that. And I used to use a Harbor Freight compressor airbrush that all I used it for was primer, and all I used was craft paint, which is really thick. And even though I watered that stuff down, I spent more time cleaning the airbrush than using the airbrush. And I know that that's mostly because of the crappy paint I was using, but I haven't been painting enough lately to warrant doing that. I'm hoping with things like mini warm-up craft paint challenge for last month. Brian from Weird World War II is doing one. That things like that will get me more into it or back into it. But lately, I've been really busy with other projects elsewhere. You don't have an airbrush, Cal? I thought you did. I used to paint uh, houses and commercial and residential things. So, you know, I know what I would be doing, but just, just right now it hasn't reached out to the point where I'm like, okay, it's time to break out the airbrush. That's how good. That's how good Cal is. He doesn't need a stinky, smelly airbrush. I got you. See, it's looking pretty good.
Okay.
Every time I see
wow.
one of these towers from Battle Masters on eBay, I just grab it. I've got 2 or 3 of these now, and they're a perfect little piece of terrain. Okay, the door's open, dude. You want to go out? Don't make me get the stunner out for you. I'll get the taser. There you go. You're welcome back anytime. I just love this goofy little tower. It's just something about it is so cool. It's a perfect piece of terrain for. You had one of those too?
All right. Okay. So
No.
this is what I got. It's not very good because the paints are cheap. But
You know, I started with Apple Barrel and folk art and things like that. I painted hundreds, if not thousands, of minis with that stuff. The trick to that stuff is just watering it down and learning how to do really thin coats.
okay.
I mean, I watered. If I could, I would get a bottle that's identical size, like buy them and squirt half the paint into that bottle, and then fill both bottles with water and just shake them until the cows come home, until it's like milk, and I would just do a thin. I've literally got miniatures from Galactic 25, this line of lead heritage miniatures. Like they're basically knockoff Star Wars minis that I kid you not, have 25 to maybe even 50 coats of paint just to get that metallic, like this metallic purple I really loved. But I would just layer after layer, let it dry until it got the right, because the detail on a 25 mil is so finite that I didn't want to ruin it. And then, I mean, literally, guys, I didn't use uh, like Citadel paints or anything like that for more than half my life painting. I used them for some Space Marine stuff, but then when I found folk art and things like that, I would just use those on my Epic Space Marines and things like that. And then when I started getting back into it, I found out there was Vallejo and Army Painter and Games Workshop, Citadel paints and uh, Reaper paints, and now I've got more than easily 600 bottles of paint. And right now in this room, there's at least 500 different colors, duplicates, things like that, but easily 600 bottles of paint. And I learned a long time ago another thing that most of these paints, when they dry out, they can be brought back to life if you are a patient SOB. What I would do is I would take the like say it was a paint pot, I would fill it with water, and then I would get a needle, and then I would squish that needle into the dry paint as much as I could and as many times as I could, so that it would make it like Swiss cheese, and that the water could get into deeper into the solidified paint, and just keep going at it every day. Come back, make new holes, and eventually it would resaturate, kind of like basic watercolors. They dry, you add water, and go back and use them again, right? And I figured, well, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, bearings, agitator bearings are absolutely a freaking great idea. If you get Army Painter, they now come with two of those. Reaper comes with one. Games Workshop, of course, don't. I don't know why. You would think with that price that they could, you know, do a brother a solid and
Yeah.
throw some ball bearings in there. But you can also use glass beads. I prefer the ball bearings just because there's no chance of them cracking or breaking. Yeah. I could do that, but I never know who's going to join us, and I'd rather have another spot open for someone who wants to join us than to have another. I can show you what I'm doing. You know, most people don't really want to watch. You know, only Bruce's only hands. Account. Not saying anything bad against Bruce or anything. Just they're probably going to want to watch people talk and gesticulate and things like that versus trying to focus on that little tiny miniature that's you know not being picked up real well. You'd have to have a hell of a setup to do that to where they can see everything you're doing. And even then, I don't know that anybody really cares. I don't know about you guys, but I don't go to my friends' shows to watch what they're doing. I go to watch them and hang out with them and talk with them. And we did a crazy show earlier, hey George, with DM James, like 4
Oh
freaking
yeah.
hours.
Yeah, I went and got something to eat, and then I came back. And you guys are still on. I'm like, oh my god, you're still on.
My throat's actually feeling it. The back of my throat, I could feel it. And there were plenty of other guys on the show, Saxius and Bear, and
Yeah.
uh, I still feel like I was talking the whole time. I probably was. Nobody was listening.
I love Saxius's DM advice. Like,
Yeah. Oh, they're all great guys.
he's like the DM that like just torments his players with, and then rewards them with like 2 gold pieces and
Yeah, I'm not that kind of GM. Off grid will attest that. I don't care. Yeah, start with 1,000,000 gold. I don't care. Let's go. What are you doing? I don't like. As a matter of fact, I really, really, really hate the idea that you're going out of your way to keep them poor.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. Give them, like I said, give them 1,000,000 gold. Let them have fun. Is it gonna ruin the game? No. How do you know? You've never done it before. Try it. You might like it. Uh,
I guess you could be like the whoever made the D&D cartoon. It's like take level 1 players and give them legendary weapons and see what happens.
Sure.
See the meme for that one.
I'm not familiar with it, but you know.
Oh, the D&D cartoon. So the D&D cartoon. Like
The
it's
D and D. Yeah. Okay. Start with
some teenagers that go to a fun house and they end up in the D&D world, and the dungeon master immediately gives them like this bow that never runs out, and it's got like energy arrows, and this kid has a club that can make earthquakes and
right.
complete cloak
Bobby
of invisibility.
and Presto with his magic
Yes.
hat. He never knows what's coming out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. The way I look at it, I would rather them fight, dragons and vampires than orcs and kobolds.
Ah.
It's more fun to me.
Yeah.
You beat the goblin chief. Okay, cool. You ready for the vampire king or the lich or the 15th level anti paladin? Let's go do that stuff.
Yes.
I've been playing for 45 years. I've probably single handedly, through being a player character, killed 1,000 orcs. Okay,
Yeah.
one at a time, 1,000. I'm done. If I never see another orc ever again, I will not shed one single tear. But there are dragons and werewolves and vampires and mind flayers out there that need killing, and I'm the guy for the job. So let's go. Let's go do the thing. Let the new players who've never done that, let them handle my light work.
Yeah. Well, the game was called Dungeons and Dragons, and like maybe by level 5 you kill a baby dragon.
Right? Yeah, like that easily picture in the 2E handbook. Everybody says, "Oh, it's so great." It's like, no, you've got a bunch of freaking over testosterone gents and ladies who just went and murdered a poor baby dragon, thinking that was, sure it would have grown up, but your great 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 grandkids would have had to deal with it, and now you deprive them of the hoard of treasure that they would have gotten because you killed the baby dragon.
I think I did that adventure back in the day.
Where are you right now, Squirrel? Are you where you showed me? Obviously, you're not there where you showed me, but you're at your hotel and you're gonna go back and get. I thought you always had that really cool travel case. That's something I would have done back in the day, but back in the day when I was traveling, I brought my Xbox, the original Xbox, and a screen that fit on top of it, and the case with all of that and the games, etc., that I would travel with cross country on Greyhound and things like that, weighed more and was more expensive than my other piece of luggage, which had my clothes, my shaving kit, my shoes, everything else. Xbox was heavier and worth more. But if I was traveling, I would absolutely. You know what I would get? I would get one of those Reaper miniature paint cases that comes with like 10 or 20 bottles of paint, and then it's got enough room inside it for some minis and some tools and stuff like that. I would have just got one of those, did what you did, made threw some brushes in, some sponges, some plastic cup, maybe one of those collapsible ones, or just every time I went somewhere, just bought a bottle of water and cut the top off it, and 10 bottles of paint and just done that. Invisible Mage's Shadow, right? Right? From Bloodworth's game. Yeah, what really sucks is he seemed like he could be a really fun guy to hang out with, but he had this passive aggressive nature that, I mean, did you see what he wrote? The last thing he wrote? Dude, I would have beat his ass if he said some shit like that to me. Just I'm out of town working for a month at least, 7 days a week, 10 hours shifts. So 10 hours of sleeping, 4 hours of traveling back and forth ish. Because that work looks hard. I'd be sleeping 10 hours. It'd be like shower, eat, sleep. Wake up, Start all over again. Never leave behind the wee
This is
minis. The
actually
poor wee minis.
this one I was like worried about, but I think it's actually kind of cool because it's like supposed to be like a kung fu panda kind of thing,
Uh huh.
and he's got like a fur texture on him, and I think that really
Oh,
will make
you're
that
gonna
pop.
find that fur textures and chainmail when they've been dry brushed, it's like, oh my god, I'm magical. I have a magic power. I can make it look good by doing this blindfolded. Um, right? Get the money. At a physical table, I would have made it physical and I have a long fuse. Oh no, I meant driving back from work, or so you're within 3 hours of your work from home. Okay, yeah, wow. You know what you could do? Yeah, it's probably a lot of work, but you could maybe have your wife, call her up and say, hey, put together a box and put this crap in it, and then mail it to the hotel or something, or to your work or something. I don't know, man. Or consign yourself to hotel porn for the next month. Just saying. No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I remember when I was traveling, after a certain time at night, the only thing that was on the hotel TV was porn. It didn't matter. 15 channels. That's all it was.
Well,
But yeah, I
well,
funny story. Check this out. Speaking of my Xbox, and then we'll start talking about chill. Okay, George. Um,
uh,
I I I actually sold my Xbox, but when I went to sell it, I put it on eBay, and I asked for a certain amount of money, and a guy in Africa said, "Oh, I want to send you a money order for it." Okay, and I'm like, "You don't get shit till it cashes." And then in a side email or something, he sent me, he said, "Dude, I'm going to send you a whole bunch of money. Just send me back this much, and you can keep the rest." And I'm like, "What the hell kind of scam is this?" And I get this envelope in the mail with, I kid you not, like 50 fake U.S. postal money orders, right? And dumbass me, I went to the post office and tried to turn them in. Like, here, I'm turning these in. Somebody tried to give me these. I'm not trying to cash them. What does the lady do? She says, let me get my manager. And instead of getting her manager, she called the cops.
Hola?
And so the cops show up and go, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to freaking turn these in. I suppose I should have gone to the police station to do that, but I had to mail something anyways. And I figured, maybe they'd want to, tell me, the proper procedure to do it. And it was a big deal. And the worst part about it is, they tracked the guy to uh, some some guy in Arizona of all places. But I never got the reward that I should have got for helping them catch the guy. Instead, I got a ration of shit. Like, I was like, I mean, they were so obvious. If you remember
Huh?
the old postal
You
money
ready
orders,
for
the
the
green and yellow, it was so obvious that they were fake. Just done on a Xerox machine at home or something. You know what? That's not bad. Squirrel, you can surprise the lady. Maybe if get home quick enough, have time for a little, and give her a peck on the cheek and hit the road with your duffel full of minis and paints and whatnot. Maybe a home cooked meal. But I need more minis. Well, so Cal, what does she think of your hobby? She think you're crazy, or you're just a spoiled American? Which is it? Because my wife thinks I'm both. Okay, you can see here. I kind of actually screwed up on the door. There's a little too much paint there, but that's actually a kind of a good thing because then I can show you, uh, George,
Hmm.
how you can fix a mistake like that. You see this door?
Yeah.
Yeah, I screwed up. I dry brushed it too heavy, and you can barely make out the details.
Hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I will take some Army Painter Strong Tone. Where are all my washes? There they are. And just get a little bit of that. I'm not even going to put it on the palette. I'm just going to squirt the wash onto the door, just a couple of drops, and then I'll work those drops into the cracks and crevices on the Mini. That's I might have to dry brush back over that. That didn't work out like I thought it would.
I'm trying to dry brush the mini. I did the spray paint method for the highlight.
Okay.
Hard to see. You can't really see it. Um, Maybe if I did, because what happened was I did like a black, and then I did gray, and it kind of just looked all very dark gray.
Okay. That's usually either like like a pro next level technique of doing the
Yeah,
black, the white, black, then gray, then white. Because you got to really learn how to just do the bare minimum of white on the gray. Otherwise, it kind of pointless.
yeah.
But I just do the two. Now you can another uh, pro technique is you can do uh, like uh, like say you're doing like a Blood Angels Marine. You
Hmm.
could primer them red with a rattle can red, and then hit them with like the actual red you're going to use, or you could hit them with a black wash over the red, and then go back over that with a dry brush of red.
Uh,
But that's yeah, I don't have time for that level of detail unless it's a big centerpiece miniature, like a big monster, a dragon, or big giant robot or something. But if it's a standard 28 millimeter, dude or monster, who's going to see it? Especially like people like Cal and I, when we've got 1,000 unpainted miniatures to get to, you know,
yeah.
that we
Or
might
paint.
never get to, and
It was funny. I was telling my GM, I got some army paints, and we're trying to, you know, take up painting miniatures. He's like, you can paint mine if you want, and take
no,
and
that's
then
my
like take your payment in the form of just taking what your favorite miniature from me. I guess people want them painted; they don't have time.
yeah, but my voice is going. I can feel it. Um, Today was a long stream. Is that like the what is it? Is it in Japan? If you fold 1,000 paper cranes, you get a free wish. Is that where it is? You guys heard that like
Yeah,
legend or superstition? I pay 10,000 minis. I'll find a pot of gold under the rainbow, kind of thing.
these brushes have been in like jars of water for months on end, and like the little blue paint is just falling off of the
Yeah,
handle.
you will destroy brushes doing this. but it's worth it in the end. You just get some more,
Oh,
or you'll end up with a cup of dry brushes and a cup of other brushes. I've actually got 5 different receptacles for paintbrushes on my table. One of these days, I'll show you what it looks like from my perspective. My studio's a mess. I clean it at least once a month. I just like, and in less than a couple of days. Yeah, see, that's what we're talking about. See,
this is a little bit.
yeah, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, it's like you're saying. It almost looks like you could literally put it on the table like that. It just feels.
Uh-huh. And you know what? I actually, one of the very first videos we did, I did solo because my boy was too young for this one. In Dungeons and Lasers, there's a set of terrain that's nothing but walls with bookshelves. Cal knows what I'm talking about. I did a video just on ways to make that not a nightmare because you're painting in one little piece of terrain. There's like, what do you say, Cal? Like 50 books, you know, and you might be tempted to just go, okay, it'll just be a row of encyclopedias. They're all blue with gold trim. There's that's a way, but you don't want to have nothing but the blue bookshelf, the red bookshelf, the green bookshelf. You want to break that up a little to make it look, more than like a green screen backdrop. I don't know why people do that, but I made like a 10 or 15-minute video on tips on how to alleviate that monotony. It's hard to believe that was over 5 years ago. That's probably one of the first videos you ever saw of mine, huh, Cal? Cal's literally one of the very first people I met. Uh, Jackie and I met doing this all those years ago. Man,
Now, like, how long you gotta let these things dry?
how
I
long
guess.
to let it dry?
Yeah, particularly actually from primer to dry brushing. Because I think
You know what? The longer the better, honestly. Uh,
yeah, I'm getting some like residual black
as long as
paint
I have,
on the.
as long as I have one unpainted mini, I will live. That's why I use. I guess that's what you're supposed to say. The airbrush. It's just a steel needle that needs soaking after theoretically lasts forever. Sure, sure. Or you will haunt your unpainted minis. Yes, you have. Or you forgot. Yeah, it was a long time ago, dude. It is. We've done over 1,000 videos. You literally have to go scroll all the way to the freaking bottom, and it was like it was like our video number like between 1 and 12 maybe of the first videos we did. I miss those days, man. Me and Jackie, he was so funny. He's still funny, but more cute and funny than smart assy funny. He was so into it. So into it. So, how far did you read in your chill manual?
Not very.
Not very, really.
I've been focused on Star Wars games.
Okay, I just pulled mine out uh, yesterday afternoon, and it's what the Chewy, stop it, huh? Okay, that's weird. I'll use another one. It's a solid game. Uh, Off Grid was saying he'd never heard of it. It was one of those off-brandy games, Pacesetter. Um, they put out Time Master and something else. Just look here, probably. No? Star Ace or something like that, maybe.
Sounds like the start of a horror movie where the dog barks and the owner's like, "It's nothing." Get so Jason's.
Well, one of the things I thought I wouldn't like about it, but I actually do like about it, when you make a character, you're going to get 1 to 5 skill points, and
Okay.
and that's it. You can get more skills later, but even if you're an old man or whatever, you're only going to have either 5 skills at student level. It'll take 2 of your slots to be teacher level and 3 to be master. Okay, if you got lucky and you rolled 5 skill points and you took a master, okay, that's what you were. And mind you, this was all from a 1980s perspective. So, you know, the age of hyper skilled individuals wasn't really a thing. Maybe James Bond and a few other characters would have like all the skills. Sherlock Holmes, he could do everything, but it's not meant to be that when you start off. So I was thinking, because I was looking for a game to play, like a kids on bike game, and I'm like, well, this is perfect. you know uh, None of them have anything above student in their skill level. I'll give them
Mhm.
2 or 3 skill points, and everything else they don't have the bonus for doing the skill, whatever that skill is. And there's only like 30 or 40 skills in the book. There's more in supplements and things like that. But even for regular games with grown-ups and professionals and stuff, it works. You don't have to have every skill itemized. If you've got investigation,
Mhm.
at level 2, let's say, you know other things related to that, and you just use that skill. You know, if you've got the medical skill at level 2 or 3, okay, you're a teacher. You teach medicine. You can literally hold classes. What does that mean? You can do probably a lot. You need to perform some sort of triage in the field. Okay, oop, time to charge.
Yeah, I'm hoping to maybe try to get something in before Halloween with the kids, but
It's a quick process to make a character. Uh, the Once you read the 2 books, you can run them through anything you can make up.
there's this thing I was watching earlier. Like sometimes
And
I'll do like hard, like a just a kind of freeform story game with my kids, like off the top of my head. And we used to do like a lot of times it would go into horror, like haunted hospital and things like that.
mhm.
And I found this. I guess Ray Bradbury. He like science. He does a lot of science fiction. Apparently, he did like some kind of like horror fantasy thing. What was it called?
You can literally do it all. Because there was so little put out for the game.
Yeah,
To be honest, that you're going to have to do a lot of the work. Okay, when it comes to making up new monsters or things like that. And as a GM, you'll learn you don't have to write that crap down until after the game, and
yeah,
even then you don't have to. You can just wing it. You just say, okay, in your mind you figure out, okay, it's this and that. And sure, I can't show the players the stats, but you're not really supposed to have to do that anyways.
yeah,
It's not like you're cheating or anything. You're winging it because you have to. The
yeah.
players went and did something you weren't expecting, which unless you're running a railroad, that's always
I
going to happen. You can't have all. the monsters and the whole world all statted out when you start. Otherwise, you won't get started for your entire lifetime because you're too busy statting off that corner that they're never going to get to. You just wing it, make it up,
Yeah.
and if it works, you could go back later, take an index card, and write up the monster stats, throw them in a card holder, and use it again later. Or if you need to reference it again, if they bump into more of those creatures, cool. Same thing with NPCs. Well, they only got 5 skills, or
Yeah.
they start with 5. They could have more. Okay,
The
you might even build the character as they're playing with the NPC. They only know this about him, but then when they come back and meet him again, it's like, okay, well, he should probably know how to do this too and that too, because when you get your experience points, you can spend them on increasing your stats, learning new magic, or learning or improving skills. That's it. It's very
um,
much like the game we're playing, Savage Swords.
okay. One of the things I found was DMing, and I've been using a lot of ChatGPT for this. Like, if I can't find a monster stat somewhere, I'll just I'll have the AI make it. And I don't know if it will make something as obscure of a system to chill, but it knew Star Wars D6, so who knows what it'll come up with.
You know what? You'd have to distinguish between first, second, and third edition chill,
Hmm.
but I'll bet you it could do it.
Yeah.
You know what? Remind me, and I'll go do that later. I'll come up, see if it can come up with the stats for the creature from the Black Lagoon in chill.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can do that on such an obscure, you know, very, very you know, unheard of game like that, and it can give me all the stats, the skills, etc. That would be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it could probably do that for just about any other game.
I wonder if you can't find it in like the wild, if you just gave it can you give it a PDF? I don't know how it works. I haven't really gotten too far into it, but like if you just gave it the PDF and it would look through it for you and come up with something.
Well, what's up, Omen?
So what I was thinking about is the Ray Brad. I was watching this video today, and it was terrifying Disney classic, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yep.
It's apparently based on a Ray Bradbury book.
Yes, about a carnival that comes to town.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
would be
everybody was telling me that was, the closest to what I was looking for with a Halloween movie with kids and trick or treating,
yeah.
etc. And I'm like, no, you're I'm gonna have to freaking write it. You know, the kids, they're in high school, they're doing things, getting ready for Halloween, all the little traditional things that we all went through. The getting the pumpkin with your mom and dad, carving a
Mhm.
pumpkin, some scary stories, and you go out, you know, hanging out with your friends, and everybody's talking about the haunted house down the street, or the kids that
Mhm.
got murdered here, or some sort of local lore of your area until the big night, and then the kids go and something happens, and then something else happens, and they get chased and they're scared out of their wits and blah blah blah, and you know
That reminds me when I was a kid, the scariest house we used to avoid. It was an old lady's house. It just was unkept because she was old. And
everybody had one.
yeah, but
Unless you
she
lived in the
it,
projects or something like that, you had, and even then, there's always somebody in your neighborhood that as kids, you're like, be careful,
yeah.
even if it's not
Well,
true, even if
the
they're the
funny
nicest people ever.
it was the funny thing was like one of the kids who gets from the other block. Yeah, she was giving out dimes. Yeah, at that time, a dime was pretty crazy.
Really?
Not that, yeah, like we were getting nickels or just can't penny candies in the 70s. So like she would give out dimes, like which was like 10 cents.
Wait, was it you, Mobius, or was it someone else? Someone told me a great idea that I'm stealing from my thing. Part of the Halloween story is the handed down map of all the houses that give out the good candy. Okay, like the rich people that give out the
Ah,
big candy bars, and so somebody gets a hold of the map, and their circle of friends is going to follow the map on Halloween night to go to all the houses that give out the good candy, to make sure they get to the big house at the end that gives out the big candy bars in the richer neighborhood as part of the thing, and then when the movie's over, someone else gets the map, as one of the last little tidbits. But of course, something on the map ain't right. One of the houses is the house that kidnaps people or is haunted or something, some little thing like little twists, to keep the story alive for the sequel, if you will.
yeah.
Silver Bullet was not a bad suggestion. The only problem I have with most of these is one, the monster has to be something that the kids can defeat without a gun, because in today's day and age, you make a story where the kids go steal a gun, and you're going to get blamed for some kid stealing a gun. Okay, in Silver Bullet, you know that was not a thing. Nobody cared. It was the thing was getting the silver to make the bullet. Am I correct? In Silver Bullet, that was like the big challenge was to, obviously to face the werewolf and shoot him, but to get the silver to be able to make a real bullet out of silver.
A silver BB gun.
I tend to facor. I don't know what that word means. It's got to be a typo. But anyways, I want it to be something that they can, you know, not saying that it is supernatural because it might not be. It might be like, the Scooby Doo. You pull the mask off and it's Old Man Jenkins, something like that. But I want it to be scary. I want there to be like a lesson learned kind of thing. Coming of age lesson. Part of their growing up, and tragedy has to be part of it because it wouldn't be, favor. Okay, I feel I was just messing with you off grid, but something along those lines, and I think I've got some people on board for that group, and I might play it live over the course of a couple of nights before Halloween or maybe into November. But as of yet, I haven't seen anything that really uh, nails what I'm talking about. But that's good because that means I've got to write it and run it myself. What's up, Raven 21? I'm not rich, but I strive really hard to be the house on the map that gives out the good candy. Uh, I am the house, uh, and not the only house, but the entire neighborhood, the cul-de-sac I live in, is the house that buys the candy and then eats it all over the course of November because nobody comes to our house. We have no kids in our, well, we have two kids plus my kid in the cul-de-sac of about 20 houses, no kids. And the next street over, no kids. The next street over, there's kids. So the likelihood that they come over here is really, really slim. When I took Jackie trick or treating, we had to take our bikes to get to the neighborhood where there were houses that were giving out candy, and it was so funny. He he invariably would have a costume that he would have to like tie up or wear a certain way, tuck in things so they wouldn't get caught in the spokes and the wheels of his bike. And we'd go to the neighborhood, and I'd walk the bikes and he'd run to all the houses, and then we'd put the candy in the basket, tie up his costume, and then ride to the next neighborhood because it was just where we live is kind of mostly seniors and retirees. Uh, the high school here has, I think, 900 students, but there's only one high school for, as far as I know, the entire town. 400 trick or treaters. Wow.
Yeah, I used to
That's
live on a
crazy, Raven. That's
yeah,
crazy.
I lived on a street back in Jersey, and it was like the street to go to. People were like coming in from like out of town just up to my
Mhm.
street because it's a wide street with a grass divider between both lanes of traffic. It's kind of a nice street to walk, and we would run out of candy, run out of money. We'd close all the lights, and when we ran out of candy and doorbell, we would or go look for some old change, go check in the couch.
Right? I've gone trick or treating as a kid and ended up getting money or candy apples or popcorn balls or cookies and brownies and crap like that. Nowadays, my kid brings something like that home, it's going right into the trash.
Yeah,
Sorry, but not
we
taking a
used to do
chance.
girls. Um, yeah, I heard that was a kind of the whole razor blades and an apple or whatever. We would, but we're just concerned about all that sugar, and
Good for you, Raven.
we would do what's called switch witch, where you swap out you take the they take their favorite candy, and then the rest they do switch witch with it. Like they'll take like 20 or 30 pieces of their favorite candy, give us the rest, and then we would put that we would trade that for something we would buy like a toy or something. Usually, what we'd end up doing is we'd go to like Walmart and get like some kind of Halloween kind of thing that's on sale afterwards.
That's cool.
Yeah, like the girls. I think it went so since like a lot of costumes because they're girls, so they used to play dress up and things, like princess dresses. So we get them like a princess dress that was on clearance after Halloween. That looks cool.
It's just a simple Halloween decoration I picked up not last year. This has probably been in my bin for like 5 years. But I'm gonna cut it apart and turn it into some scatter terrain of a dead giant serpent. I might even do the full like Sandy Hill from Star Wars. Hold on, see, I'll get a black, and then boom, 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 boom. I'm not even looking at what I'm doing.
What color is this? This color's called pavement. Maybe I'll make this work.
Really, Omen, you guys are just too nice. See, but that's right. You don't like chocolate, so me on the other hand, I do. You are the weirdo dressed in costume, keeping a tally list of the treaters. Yeah, no, not entirely. Uh, Up until a few years ago, I would literally have the camera at the door to take pictures of, you know, the coolest costume, but then, I stopped doing that because it's like a little, it's a little weird.
Hold on, I got an accident. Where am I? So there's different reasons people paint these things. Some people do
Sorry, George, what?
There's like different reasons people paint. They're like some people doing armies, some people just doing minis for their RPGs, and some people just want a pretty thing
Uh-huh.
to put on their shelf, I guess. Now that I was trying to figure out sizes and where to get some nice. Once I get a little used to this, to get a bigger one that I could put on my shelf, but I'm not sure where to get them because I found a lot of this stuff on Amazon, but no.
If you don't have a game store,
Mhm. We
do you have a
we have
game
some.
store?
There should be something around here. Yeah, they're going liquid. Let's see here. They also like you could sit down and play. They should have some minis there. A lot of the ones I see they're already painted though. Like already
Mhm.
they already have the colors on them.
I would. It depends. I mean, like when I first started getting back into painting, I got a lot of Whiz Kids miniatures, uh, and mostly just the monsters, the big monsters. The Remoraz and Wyverns and things like that. Trolls, those
Mhm.
were fun. But you can find some good deals on Amazon of no-name miniatures.
Yeah,
It budget is the biggest thing.
yeah,
Uh, how much you want to spend. Uh, do you want to have to assemble them or not? If like with Dungeons and Lasers, you get so much and it's so cheap overall, but the minimum buy-ins at $100 or $200. So some people that's not easy to do.
yeah,
A lot of Kickstarters have where you can pay over time, stretch pay, things like that. But even then, it may be hard to justify that kind of a commitment over 6 months.
yeah.
But I have seen some good stuff on Amazon in the way of like I'm not going to say no name brands, but obscure companies that have 10 or 20 miniatures. Uh, I tell you, this might help you out. You got a wife, you got
Yeah.
kids, right? You've got birthdays, you got Christmas, and you got Father's Day, right?
Hmm.
What I started doing a long time ago, I would go into our Amazon account
Ah,
and I'd start putting things in the shopping cart that I wanted, and I would just leave them there. And lo and behold, they'd show up on Father's Day, Christmas, and birthdays.
oh, okay.
Just like, hey, in case you're wondering what to get me for Father's Day or my birthday, I put a couple of things in there. You can surprise me. Swear I won't look. I won't peek. You
Yeah,
know, and Jackie's surprised the hell out of me. He's gone. After a certain age, he would go searching out cool shit. It's like, yeah, I want to see Dad paint this. Or I want to help Dad paint that. So instead of getting a baseball glove, for Christmas, I would get some cool minis, and it would be a surprise. One year, he surprised the hell out of me. He'd overheard me saying, I want to get a box of skeletons, so we could just make a bunch of skeletons in random poses and stuff like that." And he went to War Games Atlantic. I don't know how he found it, and got me this kick-ass box of skeletons that were so complex. I had to glue the feet to the legs to the hips. I was just like, "Oh my god!"
it's almost connected to the
But it
legs.
was it was great. They were spindly as hell, but it was exactly. And I would have probably never found that box,
Hmm.
but he found it, and it was it was a big ass surprise. And we do that, every year on the channel. A couple of nights before Christmas, he and I will exchange a gift uh, on camera. Uh, because that's what we used to do in my family. My parents did it for us. Christmas Eve, you get to open one present, and they made sure it was something that would keep us freaking busy and out of their hair that night. You know what I mean?
Well, they're
Something
hiding
cool.
press. Ah, I had brought it up to do that with my wife, and she did not want to do that.
Which
But
part?
the one gift at midnight or like at late on with Christmas Eve.
Oh, it wasn't even late. It was like 8 o'clock ish, just to keep the
Okay.
kids busy. Me and my little brother, They'd go, here, Merry
Oh,
Christmas. It's not Christmas yet, but you get to open this, and it would be something cool, and we go play, and it would let them do their Secret Santa stuff without us, bothering them,
yeah,
last minute wrapping or baking the cookies for Santa or whatever those things were, and
yeah.
it worked. It worked. It worked. For us, it worked with Jackie because my wife didn't know any of the Christmas traditions when we got together. That we did like baking cookies, putting them out for Santa. Wait until everybody goes to bed before you fill the stocking. All kinds of crap like that. So I had to stay up late to do all that crap. Even surprising her, she'd wake up and there'd be candy and stuff for her and her mom and Jackie. Where'd this come from? Oh, I don't know. It must be Santa. You know, and
Last time we baked cookies for Santa, the dog ate them.
okay, what do we got here? I missed a couple of chats. Yeah, every year, Omen, there's a huge freaking bucket full of candy, and I have to give some to everybody in the family, so I don't eat it all. The trick is trying to keep the family out of it as it accumulates. Yeah, well, I always buy the candy. I pick the bag, so it's like gonna have stuff I like, not a bunch of pure sugar. It's gonna have some chocolate, some caramel, some nuts, something like that. Uh, Tomorrow I have 4 face cords showing up, and I need to get put away stacked. I'll have to pace myself. Thankfully, it's cold, and the hornets should bother me too much. Multiple nests in my wood bins. Oh wow! You know that Texas. Oh come on! Texas has a caliphate, same as Michigan and multiple other states. That disturbs me. Yeah, that. I don't know how that is. Uh, I just I would start raising pigs. Okay, so there's my second project for the night. Big giant black freaking snake skeleton. And if I clip it apart at various points, I can stretch it out, make it look straight. But I think it turned out okay. I'm actually not sure. You guys think I should make it a more of a bone color or just leave it black and white? I almost think that if I make it a bone color, freedom bacon, sure. If I paint it a bone color, it to me somehow my brain will think of it as looking smaller. Does that make any sense?
Mm.
But if I leave it black and white, it'll have more of a sinister appearance to it. Hurry up,
It's
finish it. It's drying, and since I'm going to be using, if I paint it, I'll be using the bone colored speed paint, and actually I'll do it bone. I'll do it 2 different colors. I'll make the rib bones one color and the spine another color, and the skull and fangs will alternate those colors. But I think, I mean, here, let me see if I can find a miniature. Here, I'll use a cowboy here to give you an idea of scale. This is actually a 30 or 32 minute, gosh, scale cowboy. It's actually a Shadows of Brimstone cowboy with tentacles, but you get the idea how big this thing is. That's like
Mhm.
Conan style giant serpent.
So you were saying earlier about the putting stuff on your wish list. The funny thing is, this last Christmas, my wife got me the paints. She got me some paints. She got me
Cool.
a set of Vallejo paints that are all like
Okay.
skin tones, and she got me a set of Vallejos that were Woods and leathers.
Okay, I know the sets. She probably got them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, I'm guessing.
I'm not sure. She might have. Or it might.
I know Hobby Lobby is now carrying a lot more Vallejo than they used to with sets. You know, like wood, like you said, woods and leathers or browns or flesh
Hmm.
colors, things like that. Um, Reaper, Necro Serpent, yeah. Check this out on eBay. You can find. Let me get one so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah.
ODG says gray.
Okay, you see this box?
Yeah.
I got this box for $25. I got it for free shipping. I got it on eBay. It had 28 bottles of paint in it.
Oh wow.
What you do is you go. There's a couple of places on eBay. Uh, God, I don't remember any of the names, but I'll get you some names. You
Hmm.
go and you go on eBay. You look up Reaper paint sets. Okay,
Okay.
look for these boxes, and they're nice because I mean, these are sturdy gun case plastic boxes. Okay, and they've got a
Yeah.
little tray in it for the bottles of paint. And you look for the people that say free shipping over $50 or $65 or whatever, and you put one of these. You'll find these boxes. They're usually like 25, $30. Okay, but if it's got 25 bottles of paint in it, the box alone they sell for like 10 or $15. So you're
Hmm.
looking right there. It's like 25, 20. Let's say 20 bottles of paint at $5. That's $100 right there, right? But they've been sitting on people's shelves in their store for years or whatever. They're still good. If they've never been opened, they're still good. Okay. And you find the guys that say free shipping when you buy order of this much or more. And they'll usually sell uh, Reaper miniatures or other company miniatures. And you just go through their eBay store and you fill up your cart until you get the free shipping. And, you'll spend between 60 and $70. You get a crap ton of minis, you get a crap ton of paints, and then you get one of these boxes that you can do exactly what like Squirrel Hermit does if he's going traveling or something. Oh, this one doesn't have the tray in it, but it's a nice you know plastic box. It's even got uh, the reason I know it's a gun case because it's got the two holes for the locks where you can put padlocks on it. Because nobody in their right mind needs to lock up their paints. You see right there the holes for the padlock right here and right here. And I've gotten like three or four of these between $22 and $28 for the box with the paints. And then I just racked up a few miniatures until I hit whatever their requirement is to get free shipping. And I'm telling you, that box alone right now, if you're to try and ship that, if I was to ship it to you, that would cost me like $25. Easy.
Yeah.
Just to send the box. Yeah, yeah. Well, George is just starting out, and if especially if you look at the sets and you find like a set that has like a bunch of cool colors, it could be a great way to get started. Get more paints. Uh,
So I did. One of the things I did find this set, and it's great for the girls because it's got very whimsical characters here
mhm.
on it. But the box,
Oh, okay.
I remember when I got the box, it was so small. I'm like 15 miniatures. Did they chip me or something, or not read the fine print? But yeah, they were all in here. It's got like some weird little things,
Hmm.
little cat, cat wizard, but like that girls. And there's like a dwarf with like a cactus as his club. And apparently it can't come. It's been downward setting with it. Uh, campaigns get
Yeah, there are a
replayed.
lot of companies out there that most of us may have never heard of, but they're
Hmm.
doing they're doing fine on Amazon.
Yeah.
I bought some boxes like that for some of Jackie's friends just to get them some minis, a couple of years ago, and they were fine. There was nothing wrong with them. Sometimes they have like anthropomorphized animals in them, or
Yeah.
miniatures that are kind of cutesy. It's like, you know what? That's fine because like with you, you've got some girls who are going to be playing, you
Hmm.
know, and okay, now they're, it's not a monster, it's an NPC that, there's a magical cat they have to talk to, or an
Yeah.
owl or something. It doesn't have to all be,
And I, yeah.
bloodthirsty murdering bandits, every
Yeah.
time. We can, you know,
And yeah, I don't mind playing like one of those animal games. Like what is it like? What's that Despero, the mouse book? Those old
right,
ones.
right. There's another game uh, I know what you're talking about, where you play animals, or you
Mhm.
play like, there's another game. It was like based on like the Littles, where everybody's these pixie characters living in somebody's house and they're trying not to be discovered. I could see, with if I had daughters, that would be perfectly fine. I wouldn't stream it or anything, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel somehow emasculated by doing that with my daughters. It would beat the hell out of a tea party. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
dress up. It's like, okay, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do this. Go get your fairy wands, get your cookies and milk, get it to the table, and we're going to, roll some dice. You know,
I used
maybe,
to.
maybe teach them a life lesson or whatever. Just have some fun. But when it comes to getting younger folks to get into the hobby, we've got to adapt. It's not like when we were young, and it was you know uh, brutal and scary, and you're going to roll up a new character every game kind of thing. You have to adapt to get the younger generation to carry it on. Otherwise, when you're gone, everything that you treasured and valued and collected over the years is going to end up at a garage sale and sold pennies on the dollar, and you will continue to haunt the earth because you're so enraged of how they defiled your prized possessions or some such nonsense. Um,
Yeah.
and you could keep it in the family. If my player's handbook or a player's handbook that I gave to my son lasted a couple of generations, I'll consider that a hell of a victory in the way of getting people to keep playing these games. uh,
Yeah. And it's
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Cal. That's it. I have a daughter. I have daughters. Finally, last Saturday, my oldest daughter, 21, played D&D with Dad at a local con. We had so much fun. That is seriously, literally living the dream. I get to play D&D with my mom. My dad would have loved it, but he was too busy. She played a couple of times, had some fun, understood it when she was sober. And if I could get my kid Jackie to play, or his grandchildren, I'm doing the Bubba thing and babysitting, and we play some D&D. Oh my God, that right? You
yeah.
know, that's a win. That's a great time for everybody, and
Yeah.
because if we think about it, the hobby is going to change to almost unrecognizable levels in the next 20 years.
Yeah. And one of the things is there's so many. You know, it might not be for everybody, but there's some aspect from it that a person can take with. Maybe they're not into like role playing, but they draw and they love art and all the fantasy art in like in these books and stuff. Or perhaps they're more into storytelling and writing, and they'll take that away with it. Yeah, or just being whimsical and imaginative.
Absolutely, guys. What I'm saying, it's they're going to get easier to play, but they're also going to change. I've been seeing, things like digital miniatures that you could program to what miniature you want, and that they kind of move and stuff, to dice that you could program to what's on them with a click of a button. Okay, now
Uh,
it's a 20 sided, now it's a 30 sided, now it's a 4 sided. You know,
Nobody's
things
hacking
like
that.
to the we're going to see the Star Warsian hologram freaking board game war game tables like space chess or whatever. We're going to see or we might not see, but the hobby will see those things uh,
Yeah.
over the years. Like I said, in 20 years, if we're all around, we won't recognize, we won't have a clue. It'll be based on it, but it won't be
Yeah.
what we did. It'll be close, but they'll have so many
AIGMs.
innovations and so many new bells and whistles. Uh,
I'm thinking one of the ones I'm kind of fearing. Not always fearing, but the AIGM. But part of it, it'll fill in for the lack of GMs out there. So it's hard
you
to
know,
find
uh,
somebody.
someone's probably done the ratio of GMs to players. It only takes either one really good game or one really bad game to turn a player into a GM.
Yeah.
For me, it was a bad game, but for others, I know it was a good game. It's like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be behind the DM screen. I want to make the thing and come up with the adventure and describe the monsters and get the role to kill you guys. Whatever. Um,
Yeah. I like making settings. That's my thing. I'm not
Me too.
really
Me
much.
too.
That's like I come up with concepts for it and see what people can play in it.
It's fun. World building is a lot of fun. Coming up with hey, what's up, Death Angel Shadow? Coming up with a world all your own. I used to do that. One of the you guys are gonna think it's corny, but I dated a lot of girls who played. They were my girlfriend that played in my games, and at least on 3 occasions, I took a big old piece of paper and I drew a world for them. Here's your own private world with names that she would recognize. From things we did or said or conversations or whatever inside jokes. Here's your world. And when your character's not playing, they can go back to their own little world. Blah blah blah. And I guarantee you, at least 2 of those maps are probably still in existence.
Yeah, I look at my old like I have this bundle of old drawings, and a lot of just like stories, kind of cartoons, little comic kind of things, and but there's a couple of maps in there. I'm like, I gotta go find that map again. They could
You're
use it.
right. Owen was
Let's
giving
check
me
that
shit
world.
for the way I designed a particular world, but that's because I didn't want it to be like Earth. I want it to be absolutely crazy and you know unrealistic as possible. That's what made some of the planets in Star Wars or what was it the Earth Sea uh, trilogy. Uh,
Yeah,
that
right.
world was completely ridiculous. What was another one? No, Dying Earth from Jack Vance. Absolutely. Breaks the laws of physics and common sense and the way we know nature works.
Talk this one up a little
Absolutely,
bit.
Death Angel. You just make the world and let them go nuts, and they'll find their own things to do. Well, can you put that back up?
I
And
kind of messed it up in the middle. In the middle, I literally just painted the gray. And where am I? Let me bring this to the light.
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's a FDM print.
So,
And you'll see when you put the colors on, especially speed paints. This is absolutely. I know I'm teaching you slap chop for the most part, but you can take it up notches. But this will get you to the point where you have enough. That was loud. Enough confidence to where you can start experimenting and trying things out. But if you have the really strong foundation of the primer and the zenithal highlighting uh, of whichever technique you use, you'll notice that when you put your first layer of paint on, you'll be able to see uh, variations in brightness and shadow and things like that. that are all because of what you just did.
Yeah.
And if you tried to do that on like a white primered miniature,
You just be making
you
shadows all.
you would spend so much time trying to get it right because you'd be doing it the hardest way possible, literally. Even if you tried it with if you painted a miniature gray, you're still going to have to go in and brighten up and darken up areas. And now you don't have to. You put say you want to paint them predominantly blue. It's going to be multiple shades of blue, even though it's the same color of blue. And everything will
Yeah.
be in the right place. Uh, you know, uh, Brighter where there's more white underneath, darker where it's black underneath, and then you throw a wash on it and maybe bring it back to life with some more like dry brushing back over the blue over the wash to get some of the color a little more vibrant because you deem that that's where the light is coming down from. It will definitely make it look like you are much better than you were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not better than you are because you did it and you'll have
Yeah.
done it and you'll now know how to do it from that point on. Death Angel speed paint is basically a paint that's got a lot of uh, flow improver and extra matte medium in it that makes the paint like a wash almost, to where it will stain the upper areas with the brighter version of that color, and the darker pigments will flow down into the nooks and crevices and the crannies, uh, and go into the deep places darker. And with the zenithal highlight that we were doing today, that only accentuates that even more so. Almost not quite exaggerated, but enough to where you can see subtle details and shades and pockets and fur and feathers and chain links and all that stuff, to where if you tried to do it any other way, you would literally have to spend hours and hours on a miniature. Yeah, speed paints are one of the greatest inventions in the last 20 years when it comes to actual painting. They just, through chemistry, once again, better living through chemistry has created something that uh, probably toxic as all hell, but makes your miniatures look great.
All right.
Yeah, and what Offgrid's saying here, if you can dilute your speed paint with a little bit of flow improver or even water in some cases, it will do exactly what he's saying, act as a shade and a filter over the strong zenithal.
I'm worried it won't show over the black.
Then you can go back to the old standby rule, which was two thin coats. In those areas where you don't think that it looks right, you could
Yeah.
just give it a second thin coat with the same paint, and ignore the areas that look good. If acrylic medium to thin, okay. I I'm pretty sure Goobertown's recipe was matte medium and flow improver to any paint or ink. I got it written down here somewhere, and we did a video. It was one of the last videos I
Have
watched
that.
of Goobertown, but
I may actually have some flowing through here.
I expect to see some pictures, George, as soon as we're done here. Take
Yeah.
some pictures and put them in Discord, so we
Okay.
can see the various steps that you're taking, so that people like Cal and myself and Off Grid can give you little pointers here or there, or at least give you a thumbs up, because you're new at this, and we can't expect you to, you know, blow our minds. You'll do a great job, but you're not getting any awards. Sorry.
I'm like, yeah, I know. Well, my camera is being used by.
Yeah, that's what I use. I've got it right here.
Oh, I got my old camera.
Liquitex Flow Aid. and then the matte mediums over there because I rarely use it because I've got the matte medium from Army Painter that I use for the Army Painter paints. I figure they know what they're doing. It's probably the same thing. Hey Brian, yeah, I will absolutely shoot you the link because I'm losing my voice. You know
Right
what?
now, I am
I'm just gonna put
liking.
it in the chat, Brian, because it's faster.
Let's see.
And I haven't seen you for freaking ever. And as long as I see your what the shit? As long as I see it's you
Felix.
in the green room, I'll let you in. If I see somebody else, which has happened before, and we're not going to talk about that. Dude, I ordered a miniature just for your challenge. I'm only going to do one miniature besides this giant snaky thing you probably missed. It's just a Halloween decoration that I'm going to turn into a piece of scatter terrain. And then I did the old Battle Masters tower just to show George what a good dry brushing can look like. And then next week I will either next week or the week after I will do other painting and stuff to it. Friday night hack and slash. I've got some stuff I've 3D printed, but I don't have any primer. I just use Krylon or something like that. I get it at Walmart. It's a paint and primer. Brian, what's happening, brother?
What's up, guys?
Long time
Going
no see,
down.
man. Just
Yeah, it's been
chilling.
a while.
How's the family?
What's happening?
Not much. How's the family?
We're still kicking,
I figured. Glad to hear it.
so that's good.
Yeah.
They're good.
Still busy as hell, I see. I haven't seen a
Chilling,
video
chilling.
from you, except for the
See that?
freaking
There we go.
the paint
Fuck
challenge.
yeah!
Did you see Mini Warmutt's paint
I work
challenge?
every fucking day. What's that?
Wow. Swords. That's tomorrow, dude.
What?
That's tomorrow. We're playing Savage Swords tomorrow. Me and
Oh,
Off Grid.
nice.
Hopefully, Omen, Mac Thompson, that darn cat, Bo Paints Minis. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Mark's Genre Mixer. We'll be playing some Savage Swords. But I think I did really, really. Hey, what's up, Mike? Battle Masters, right? I think I did really, really good on Mini War Much Challenge. I think what I did turned out pretty good.
Would you paint?
Hold on, I'll show you. I'll blow your mind. I did a bunch of minis, but I did this one that's just
Kicking.
this is the best paint job I've ever done. I'm so much so that I'm going to biggerize myself just for a minute. just
Hey,
to do a
isn't
little bit of
pride
bragging.
and ego one of those sins, man?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know if I can do it.
All right.
All right, Brian.
Whoa.
Be ready to have your mind blown.
Nice. Damn.
Oh, wow.
Is it a specific thing or?
It's just called a
It's just-
Baylor.
Oh, Baylor. Oh, okay, yeah, like the
But
demons.
I want to show two things. You see the flames? That's clear plastic. I think I did all right.
Oh, did
And
you put
then
that on there?
it came that way. It came with clear plastic, but using what the hell Bombay inks. I just made it look as fiery as possible. Jackie says
Oh,
I did
cool.
it backwards. The orange should be on the top and the yellow should be at the bottom, but everybody else says, it looks fine. And then the sword
Okay.
also has clear plastic
Nice.
flames. And it also
Very
has
cool.
an alternating whip instead of the sword arm. But
Very cool.
the whip is a pain in the ass. But
Nice. I like the
this is
skeleton bodies hanging off the wings. That's cool.
I know, right? And it's not just the front, but the back
Let's
chains
go.
and shit. Oh, Hellraiser.
Little flare for the demons. That's right. It's like when demons run into each other,
Little,
they're like, "I like your flare, dude."
little bling for the Baylor.
Yeah, so required
Okay.
amount of flair.
Off grid. What's up, brother?
Thanks, Cal. That's literally the best paint job I've ever done,
That's
and
good.
I'm going to get better. You know, just keep trying and learning stuff, hanging out with all you guys, and I wish Bo could have been here. He's going to probably be here the next time, but he is a phenomenal painter too. I mean, as soon as you start
That
talking about layering, I'm like,
that
wow.
guy is his own worst enemy when it comes to painting. He just doesn't know when to stop. It's just like it ain't finished yet. It ain't finished. It looks great, Bo. It ain't done yet.
Thanks, Mike.
Krylons, hell yeah, dude. Back in the day. Krylon rattle cans.
I That's
We
what I
see his
use. I
masks and
know there's
stuff.
better stuff out there, but
Yeah, back in the day though, there wasn't a lot of stuff to choose from though either. Not like we have now.
uh, that's awesome off grid. I wish I could do that, but I'll do that when I open up the shop. I'll have a lit up display case. As it is, I've got these shelves here. I've got two more over there, and this one used to be like almost more miniatures. Now it's more books and books and books and books. With buying the omnibuses, I need a place to put them, and buying more comic book omnibuses. And just this year alone, I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15 omnibuses just this year. And I know it's going to be way more next year. I'm going to try
They're
and keep
great, man.
the greatest invention the comic book industry has come up with.
Yeah.
Uh,
Back in the day, Marvel have Marvel Essentials, right? And they were
yep.
just black and white, and it would reprint the entire fucking line of
Mm-hmm.
like Spider-Man #1 to 500 or whatever, every single one in black and white. But it was like, I mean, you got this huge volume. It was like $20 for like I think it was like 50 issues.
Really, but
And
black
they
and
were
white?
yeah, they were just super cheap. It was like I think it was like $20 a book
I
or
didn't know
15 bucks a
that.
book.
That's actually a
Yeah.
selling point for me because I like black and white art. But like I'm reading Tomb of Dracula, the omnibus. If it was in black and white, I don't know that it would be as good. It might be better,
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean,
I love black and white art.
unle-
I love Savage Sword of Conan and things like that. But some comic books like Rom or Silver Surfer, I don't know that they would be able to pull it off.
well, to be honest with you, I mean, I've been a comic collector my whole life. It really depends on the book. I mean, if you got
Right.
like a deluxe book that, the colorist is like using like layers and all sorts of shading and shit, then yeah, you want the color. But most comics, you got the three-tone page, you know,
Four
you're
color,
not
I think it
missing a
was.
whole lot of artwork color, in a lot of those books. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It really depends.
I picked up the ROM and the Micronauts and Tomb of Dracula, and I also picked up the old school Aquaman and Adam Strange, and
Rump, Rump was a great fucking book. It was almost like a Conan, but he's like a robot.
it was
And they had some great, like, man, remember those like weird Morlock enemies he was fighting all
the
the
Wraith.
time?
They were called the Wraith.
The Wraith. They would shoot. Was it that black like melt you or whatever? I remember Rom was hanging out with Submariner for a while down in Atlantis.
I don't remember
That
that.
that was a cool ass storyline. That was a cool storyline.
I do not remember that, but I will be getting all 3 volumes of that omnibus. I'll be getting all 12 of the Conan Savage Sword. Silver Surfer, I think, is only a few. But like I was looking at the Aquaman and the Adam Strange from. Oh, we lost George. Sorry, George. You are welcome to come back. I love that old, you know, damn near turn of the century comic stuff the way it was when it first came out. I want to see what our
Yeah.
parents or our grandparents or whatever what they saw as opposed to like gussying it up and making it look more modern or making it look better because they can. If I could, like, I've got
Yeah.
the reprints of the Flash Gordon comic strips from the newspapers, and I'm looking at getting the Prince Valiant and as
Oh,
much of the Phantom as I can.
oh yeah.
I love that old shit. As much as I love Braun
What is
paint,
that? Who is that? That's goes for that.
Lee Falk,
Can't remember his fucking
or
name.
I could go get it. It's right here for the Flash Gordon.
I cannot remember the damn artist. I mean, he's like a legend. I can't remember his
Oh, Alex Raymond.
it,
Alex Raymond.
Raymond. That's it. Yep. Epic stuff, man.
And it's
He
weird because
like. I
it
mean, he.
opens like this, like a kid's book.
Oh yeah.
The way instead of it being like this, it's like this.
I
Yeah,
used to
Alex
have
Raymond was freaking
one of
phenomenal.
those.
Yeah, I've
But
got
that's
the
like
first
fucking
couple.
1930s art, dude. That's like
And you know
early
what?
20th century art, and that's like awesome.
Okay, look at that. The picture of Flash and Dale Arden. I'll try and scooch
Hell
it in as
yeah.
much as I can.
Beefcakes and babes. That's what I'm talking about.
It's freaking. It's there's nothing wrong with it. It is gorgeous art. The proportions are perfect. Everything is perfect. And guys like Alex and what was his name? Was it Wally Wood?
Oh yeah, fucking wood. It's
Uh,
actually it's what did he say? He hated people calling him Wally. I think his real Wallace or some shit. Unless you're like his best friends, he hated you calling him Wally.
right. He's also the guy who said if he knew what his life was going to be like, he would have cut off his right hand.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
like,
Shit,
wow, dude.
he did all the fucking legwork for Johnny Quest, the TV show,
Yep.
the original
Welcome
Johnny
back, George.
Quest. Awesome
Right.
Well,
stuff.
but yeah, I haven't begun to read these yet, and I can't wait. I mean, some of it is I know it's going to be corny, but at the same time, it's also uh, got fantastical stories, because it's a sci-fi fantasy. I know they all
Sure.
are, but in the truest sense, it's sci-fi fantasy that I can absorb ideas from because how many people do we know that's going to read this and it's going to know
I would.
if I pull out, you know what I mean? If I pull
Shit.
out an idea from a story from the 1930s, how many people are going to know and be able to go, oh, that's that. Like the other day, Omen was there. I pulled the slee stack out, and my party met the slee stack. Okay, I mean, I did everything. I
I
did
know.
the way the way the cave looked with the three entrances. I even did the sound effect. And people were just not they weren't putting two and two together.
Do they have little crossbow, little hand
Everything,
crossbows?
dude, everything. I mean, I changed the little things as they got to, get closer and meet them and stuff. But it's like, if I went to a game table at any town USA and started running that, nobody would know shit. You know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh my god, this is great," or maybe not, but they wouldn't know where you're borrowing and getting your inspiration from.
I
And
just
that's like our number one job. That's why every one of us is either a comic book, a literature, or a movie or TV freaking aficionado, right? Because whether we know it or not, we're constantly looking for new ideas to come up with new inspiration, to come up with new things we could throw. Banana hammock, fucking cow. Yes, I saw that, but you know what? If any of us looked like that and we had that kind of arm candy at our disposal, we would dress
I
like
tell you,
that every day.
I tell Mel, it's like, why are you always watching, porno and reading pulp magazines and shit? I'm like, I'm trying to find inspiration for my weird World War II, woman. Go make me a chicken pot pie. They punched me in the face.
I was wondering why you look a little swollen. Oh, you had him too off grid, but you get it. The 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 old stuff has something about it. I really don't know how to put my finger on it, but it has something about it that's just so missing today.
It's
Everything is
new.
so.
It's original. It's new.
It was
All we
then,
get
and it
now is
still
this,
is,
just some
right?
regurgitated shit nowadays. They can't come up with their own stuff.
And yet, the funny thing is yet, even if I go and pull out Prince Valiant, right, and we lost George again. If I pull out Prince Valiant, or if I was alive back then, I might have been able to trace his inspirations to to things before his time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What inspired him to write Prince Valiant? I don't know. I'd love to find out because that's one more step further back in time I can go to read great stories or great enough to inspire someone to make something great. You know what I mean? We've been kind of screwed since I don't know what year, but it does seem like we've gotten to that point where we're just getting copies of copies of copies, like in cloning.
Yeah, it's
We're
shit.
just getting the derpy shit, versus the classic shit, the original, you know, thing that was cloned. So the further back we go, the closer we can get to a real nut sling. Goddamn guys. The more we can get to original great stories that we haven't seen yet, and the further back you go, uh, it seems the better they get. The especially the pulp stuff. We don't get watered down heroes that are worried about their feelings. Yeah, they have three feelings: I'm hungry, I'm pissed off, and I want to get laid. That's all we need, right?
I'm fucking horny, yeah.
We don't need the other. We have no use for those other feelings. I mean, we
Sounds like
might, but you know what I mean.
so,
And the funny thing about it, I was actually watching a video of Shoe on Head, which I haven't seen in years. I didn't know she was still around. She was talking about the kind of literature women are reading these days. You can go check that video out, and it just proves my point that they want the very thing they've taught many of us to not be. You know what I mean? It's fucking. It's literally
Well, it's just
you
like,
know suicidal of a species.
well,
If
it's like, when me and Mel were just talking about this the other day, it's like we're talking about this, these frothing, like, oh god, feminists, right? I'm looking at him like, all you've done is become an asshole man. That's it. You've just become exactly what you fucking hate. An asshole dude.
because somebody dark and sinister got it into their head that they don't want what they want and they want what they don't want. You know what I mean?
I don't know
yeah.
what it is. Just
You
mixed
know,
up
you you
cats.
you
That's all it is.
you put the most hardcore freaking dyed in the wool feminist on a desert island with the freaking most badass green beret survivalist you can find, and within 6 minutes, everything is going to revert to normal for those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
And
this
and,
this
and
level. I mean, this level of woke is definitely a first world issue. You know what I mean? Most
oh
people
yeah,
don't have the most people
not
don't have
even
the fucking time to worry about fucking whatever because they gotta trudge through the fields and make food to eat.
Yep.
Yeah, they had I'm not sure Survivor where
Yeah.
like they had Team Tiki and Team Con Tiki or whatever, and they would every season they had something a little different place or something. One season they decided to do boys versus the girls. They had the boys like literally were cooperative, built like a civilization on their island, and the girls were like not doing much. They were just eating the rice that they gave them, that they would be supplied with, and bickered about who was doing what. They actually had to like merge the tribes sooner than they had planned.
Yeah, Mel's a huge Survivor nut. She loves that shit.
Good for her. Good for her. I wish my wife got it, or at least, you know, remember when the for a minute there we thought we were going to go to war with Iran. It was like a couple of years ago. She came home that day and was like, "We got to go to the store." I'm like, "What for? What?" It's like beans and rice. We got to stock up. That lasted like one day. And I'm like, "Okay, sure, we'll go do that. We'll go do that." Now you get it. We just gotta be prepared. I'm like, yeah. What have I been saying since day
No,
one?
I was talking about the TV show, dude.
No, no, no. I know, but when that happened, that was the one and
Oh,
only day that she like agreed with me that we need to store food and water and medical supplies just for any emergency, not the end of the world, but any emergency. You
Yeah,
know,
my wife.
she was listening to CNN or Telemundo, and we were going to go to war with Iran. Never
Yeah,
happened. Uh, and so that like that weekend we went and got extra rice and beans, and instead of just leaving it alone, like I said, as soon as we ran out, they broke into that and started using it, which was like a week later or something. But for 1 minute, we had, like 5 gallons of rice and beans, and I'm like, that's a good start, but we need to do better. I mean,
yeah,
I've got squirreled away that nobody knows about, cans and things like that won't perish, and other stuff. But um, like I said in one of our prepper videos that me and Bo are going to do another one real soon here. At the very worst, what you've got is a little insurance policy. If somebody in your household loses their job, right? You
yeah,
can go, okay, well, at least we don't have to worry about food for the next couple of weeks. We may
yeah.
not be, high on the hog. We may be eating, Chef Boyardee and freaking ramen, but you know what? No one's going to be hungry, and we can go, go look for the
Totally.
job. Maybe anything like that. Something that
hey,
could take.
babe,
I
you come
so,
here.
yeah, I got lucky with my wife. She grew up Mormon, and so it's like when that was going on, like a Geiger counter showed up, at the door. I'm like, what happened? Who got this? And she's just like, so yeah, there's gonna be just in case.
Hmm. That's not bad, but that kind of mentality, even just even if you can only spend like 1% of your paycheck putting shit away.
Mhm.
Now, if you don't have a place to put that, or something like that, then there's nothing you can do. If you've got like a really tiny apartment, that's fucking awesome.
Would you give me some
That's
water,
fucking
babe?
awesome. I
Thanks.
wish I had one. I've got the gas masks and stuff like that, but I don't have one of those.
Should have get
Uh,
lots of filters for your gas masks.
I know, I know.
Okay.
The ones I have are
Oh yeah,
probably
give me,
no good,
give me something to eat
but
with it. Like,
you
no,
know,
please.
if it, I only have those because I for a fire. I don't expect to have uh, a chemical spill or anything like that, or freaking toxic crap. I just figured if there was a fire and I needed to go back into the house to get something I forgot, at least I'd
To
have
save
that.
your fucking, yeah, save your collection.
No, there's stuff that's just not going to make it downstairs. I know, but there's stuff like I took. I've got all my most valuable stuff in these metal cabinets that are on casters, so I can just wheel those down the driveway.
Just wheel
So
them out.
nothing can, so they can't actually catch on fire. They also have my ammo in them, which I don't want. Like I'm not leaving my ammo in my house if the house catches on fire. because you know what's going to happen. People are going to die.
You're like, there's a bunch of ammo in there. See ya. Good luck. They'll probably
You know,
just
the
let it
firemen are
burn.
going to get there.
I-
The firemen are going to get there. My house is going to open fire on them.
We got,
You know what I
we
mean?
got a hostile house fire.
Right?
I'm gonna eat.
Yeah, I remember my dad was telling a story. He grew up in Greece during the Greek Civil War.
Hey, Janet.
So like guns and bullets were everywhere. So that's one of his crazy cousins. Just like they were like around the campfire, just grabbed a bunch of bullets and threw them into the campfire just to see all his friends run.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, Mel. Long time no see. I hope you're doing well.
Hey.
She's high.
I know. We heard her. I'm glad you guys are doing well. I honestly, you two are probably the first people, you and Omen, and maybe Bruce, going to be the first people I look forward to seeing when I get there.
You need to get here, man. Well, so what's the plan? Any plans yet?
It's still in the air-ish because of Jackie and college, military, last year of high school,
I don't know.
It depends on what he wants to do, will determine, when I can get out of here. Although, God, if what's her name becomes governor, I may just take matters into my own hands. Katie Porter. Have you seen the videos going around about her? Oh dear God, what a
I heard
psycho!
she freaked out like on some interview here.
Like several.
Yeah, the interview he was like, "What are you gonna do to all the 46% that voted for Trump in your state?" She's like, "Huh?" Like, nothing. And she's like, "Well, I mean, aren't you those?" No. So she's like, "You're telling me everybody who didn't vote for Trump is gonna vote for you?" Yeah.
What's up, Holy Diver?
Dumbass.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that interview literally like 3 times on 3 different shows. Because I watched the body expert, the body language guy, Enrique Jesus something or other. I like that guy's show, and a couple other. I think I might have seen that on Crowder or whatever. And then I saw the other video clip of her where she's yelling at one of her assistants to get out of her shot because they keep walking. She's in her freaking kitchen or living room recording a video, and one of her assistants walks by and she's just like screaming at her. I'm like, there ain't no way, I want you anywhere near the governor's seat. But that means she'll probably win anyways. And I never thought someone else could make Gavin Newsom look good. What's shaking, Dean? Holy Diver, you gotta come on one of these times. We're getting ready to wrap it up here in a few minutes. But if you notice, I took a chance to put the link in.
Everybody go to Diver's fucking channel, and he did a fucking Halloween PDA.
Really, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's like, okay, kids, only eat packaged shit. Don't eat those saran wrapped fucking
Cool.
Popcorn balls. They all razor blades in them. I'm like, what the fuck?
Speaking of
Diver's giving out a PSA. I said PDA, didn't I?
And there's the boy. Is that what you got?
Holy shit! Look at that kid.
No.
Looking kind of Soviet there.
We have a real gas mask I could have given you.
I need more than one.
Was that one of those fake ones?
We've got 2.
You have 2.
Yes.
Did not know that.
What kind of gas mask you get? What nation?
Israeli.
It was really gas
Israeli?
masks.
Yeah.
That's
Those are
really
Been used recently, so I know what they're doing.
They're good. That's why I have them. I used to have a World War One German gas mask.
You sold it?
No, it fell apart. Because it had a tube here with a big long hose, and then it attached to a metal box, and the rubber just, decomposed.
Yeah, all this shit was rubber and like leather. That stuff.
Yeah. So should I
How the
put
hell that?
color on?
Halloween costume. I'm working on a haunted house for the school.
You're working on a haunted house for the school, so real people can go in it.
Yes, real people.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to do that.
Well, no.
You know, we've
actually,
also got the mask down there, the Western mask you got me, and we've also got the chaos, whatever the Tridarian three-eyed guy.
Oh, I forgot we had the.
Yeah, all they got to do is like have like a scene of like hunters. That'll frighten all the California children.
The Israeli gas mask for the haunted house stadium.
That's true. It's like, oh my god, they're hunting. That's so awful. Halloween's
As long as you give it
mean.
back, I don't care.
I mean, I'm probably gonna donate. I bought 2 of these. I'm probably gonna donate one to the school. And I keep the other.
More to paint this damn thing.
Okay.
And I remember you specifically saying one time that we couldn't use the. I didn't know they were Israeli. That's really funny.
So, Dean, are you going to do my October painting challenge, bro? Since you're painting.
Because like they're a one-time use thing or whatever.
You mean George?
No, George,
Oh,
my
me?
bad.
Oh, what's the painting challenge?
How much discussion?
Anything weird World War II or just like Halloween, like monsters and scary shit or whatever?
To charity.
All
You
right,
see,
yeah, I'll try something. Yeah,
Just for
probably try
fun.
something.
And then I'll make a video of everybody's stuff and showcase it on the channel.
There were.
Did you see
Cool.
any cloaks or capes or hoods?
I wasn't really looking.
I need one for what?
I saw a carton and asked.
Why does it now, ladies and gentlemen of Shadow and Sun's audience? That's something you would only ever hear on Shadow and Sun. They're talking about cloak shopping. That's a Shadow and Sun thing right there.
Yeah.
Unique.
Well, no, I need one for George's Star Wars game.
I also might need another Ushanka.
One of those?
Yeah.
You have to look on Amazon. Rick's not sending you another one.
Are we gonna have enough people for tomorrow?
I'm gonna go test out the outfit for this. And by that I mean put on a trench coat and stick some pins into it.
Okay, come back and show us.
All right, I'm gonna try putting some color on one of these guys.
Not a lot. Woke up hungry, so I had to eat something. Yeah, my dad left me a bunch of. Thanks, Janet. Thanks a lot. You can come in here too. You know, my dad had a lot of World War I and II German stuff for unfortunately obvious reasons. When he passed away, and I sold it all. Jackie hates me for doing so, but at the time I just had no way to carry around and cart that crap around. You know, what was it? 21, 30, 40, 50, 37 years. Somehow I managed to keep all my comic books though.
Man, I had 80 long boxes of comics.
80?
80.
Dude,
When I finally sold them all, it was like a
that is
fucking
insane. That
relief.
is
Most of them were gold. Most of them were golden age, dude.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean,
A question.
I'll be honest with you guys. I could have sold that shit for hundreds of grand, but man, anyway. I sold it for what I sold it for, and it kept me and my kids afloat for a couple years. So it was worth it.
Quick question about doing these speed paints. Do I like start with the darker colors first, or lighter colors, or anything like that, or just?
No, you're just gonna you're let's say you're doing a guy who's wearing boots, pants, and a shirt, right? You're just gonna do blocks. You know, the boots are one color, the pants are another color. You know, you just do blocks of whatever there is, and then later you can go back over and do other things. You know, like the buttons or the ties or the zippers or whatever,
Okay.
the buckles.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna try put some color on this samurai. Or no, he's not really a samurai, but this guy.
So, Janet, I'm guessing I missed your show. I'll go back and watch it before I hit the hay.
Is that Interplanet Janet from?
Yes, it is Janet
Full
from
House
Another Planet. She did her conspiracy theory show this evening, and yeah, unfortunately, she was doing a show. Professional Dungeon Master was doing a show. Bear was doing a show. It was like, I've been doing this time slot for like 3 years now, so I've kind of committed, and I told George was nice enough to make that great thumbnail that you guys probably all saw it and came here to check it out. I appreciate that. Um, those thumbnails you made, George, were just
Well, thank you.
it's scary good. I mean, not perfect, they could be played by another guy, but they got like
Yeah,
the basic cartoony features, the way my hair
yeah.
is, stuff like that,
I,
Um,
I don't know why it makes people look a little more gaunt than I try.
yeah, one of them made me look like Willie Nelson. I wasn't really thrilled with that, but it
Oh,
also had brown eyes. Mine are blue, but
Really?
you had to
still,
see it. You had to see the rejects.
no, I don't want to see those. I don't want to see those. I know what working with AI art is like, and I don't want to see those because that's the stuff of nightmare fuel. I have literally made some images that like you were in the Traveler game. That first alien picture I made, that was a
Mhm.
one and done. I made some more after the fact, but I was like, oh my god, that is utterly terrifying. Those the fish heads.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Dude,
Yeah, they were.
that was one image. I just told it the very first time it came back with my worst freaking nightmare. I'll send you a picture, Brian, one of these days when you're not
Yeah.
expecting it.
I'm always up for weird stuff
These
popping
were
up.
these were so good that they were. It was frightening. It really was. Just subtle details.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not covering the black.
Only on Dracula Channel 3. I don't know what that means. Holy Diver. The link's in there. This is one of those rare occasions that I'm going to put the link up there. You can come on in and hang out with us for a few minutes if you want. We'll talk horror movies,
We're
and I will watch your video from this morning as well. Been a long freaking day.
so you're a dog guy, right, Shadow? There's a new
Love dogs.
horror movie out. There's a new horror movie out called Good Boy, and it's about a dog. He's the protagonist in this fucking horror movie, and he's like protecting his owner for some supernatural thing. But it's like it's a movie about a fucking dog fighting, supernatural shit. It looks fucking awesome.
Okay. That sounds
Oh,
like something me and Jackie would absolutely love.
you should check it out. I've heard really good reviews from it.
Because every time we watch a movie that we do like a review of together, his favorite character is the dog. Just if there's a dog in it, that's his favorite character. Just
Yeah, so I mean, the main character is a dog, and he's fighting the good fight. That's pretty
what
cool.
kind of dog?
I think it's one of the shaggy ones.
Like a
Not
golden
a golden
retriever?
retriever. Not a golden retriever. Hey, baby, what was that dog from? What is it? Oh, what was the Lassie? No, maybe not
It was a
Lassie.
collie.
Uh,
Lassie was a
it might
collie.
be a collie retriever mix. I think it's a mutt, to be honest with you.
HD, welcome
Two
to
of
the
the best
show, brother.
dogs.
Sorry,
Oh shit! It's Diver.
I had to get the what do you call it? The mic tapped down before the TV. My pickups got the TV on you.
No worries, no worries. Good seeing you again, man.
No, what's up? Weird, long time no see. I always like to check in on Gen X. I'm learning so much from you guys.
You
We're
you
the
will. We
we're the
we
coolest generation.
we had it made. We got the best of both worlds, and some folks that came after us, got to experience some cool shit and got away with some cool shit. But after a certain point, you guys ain't getting away with nothing, man.
No, so let's see here. Yeah, I noticed your time slot. I'm gonna have to change my time slot on Thursdays. If you've laid a rightful claim to that.
You're welcome anytime, man. We can do that collab thing if you want to.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool too. No, I just finished a Tales of the Crypt episode on Rumble, and then I
Nice.
had to upload. So when I came here, I was just like, I'll listen to Shadow and Son while I upload the this week's offering to Rumble because I didn't do it last night. They've been demanding so much of my time at work that I've just gotten behind on everything that I'm supposed to do. And then
I bet you you're in big demand now with all the new Department of Transportation smackdown on the drivers.
we'll see. I'm waiting for it. I am waiting
Shit,
for it.
man. I was about to
We
say
need to get some of
you
these
truck drivers are gonna get some extra cash money because half the pool of the drivers are gonna be gone.
I will tell you that one thing that really and shines me off. If this is okay for Shadow, can I talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Okay, so there are a couple Hispanic truck drivers who are like kind of more fresh off the boat. They weren't born here, and they had gotten some grants courtesy of the taxpayer to buy their first trucks, which really cheesed me off.
Dude,
Um,
what the fuck?
and they barely speak a lick of English. I was down there working with a couple of them. I don't hate these men, but I was like, I told one of them while we were working this job, because we're up on the high mountains. I said solo cuatro, tierra muy duro. Only get 4 scoops from that guy because if he puts a 5th one on you when you're going downhill, you're not going to be able to stop. So,
Okay.
and they understand that. They understand my broken my broken Mexican is what I speak after 4 years in college of Hispanic. I had to
You
take
know what?
because of that.
There's a couple of really cheap, especially I don't know if they still have them, but at like Home Depot and things like that, they have a couple of really good pocket Spanish to English, translation guides
Ooh,
specifically for construction and work like that. It helped
Shit,
me,
nowadays
and
you
you
just
get
get your phone and
yeah.
say, "Hey, don't pick that shit up," and then like whatever, whatever it says.
no,
Oh, really? I picked up 2 off grid. Wow, that's awesome. I haven't even looked in a couple of days.
Oh yeah, so Diver, we were talking about that new horror flick, that Good Boy, where like the
haven't
main
seen
character.
it.
I heard it's pretty good.
I'd have to check it out. Let's see here. I just finished this week for Monster Fest, so I don't have to do anything. If I check out anything, I got to see The Conjuring, the
Oh
last
yeah.
installment of The Conjuring. I do like Patrick Wilson. I mean, any guy good enough to play Raoul in Phantom, and he's delivered in every Conjuring movie he's been in. He's just really solid. He holds He holds the
You're
entire
kind of
franchise
like a
together.
Phantom movie friend of mine.
I
George, have you ever met HT?
think you've been on a couple of streams, like those Saturday night ones.
Okay, okay. George, Holy Diver,
Nice to
George.
meet you, George.
Hey,
George is a great guy. Today I was, teaching him a couple of, beginner painting tips, and he's taking to it like a fish to water. And then he's going to teach his family as well. So that's actually
So
kind of
have you
awesome.
heard the news? GW's like suing people for what, unfair business practices or some shit.
They're
What?
always suing somebody.
I mean, so
I,
this is
you
the thing. Some 3D designer been making shit that's kind of like 40K, and then they're gonna sue his ass for doing it, and then they changed the lawsuit to where it's unfair. What was it? Fucking unfair market because he's able to make cheaper shit. I don't know what the fuck. Some stupid crap.
Which is
Uh
horseshit
oh.
because once Games Workshop, once they make those plastic casts for their models, and they pay them off.
know,
They're not out any extra money, and like
grief.
the reprinting of Old World, all they had to do was just bring that shit back
What do you think?
and produce it again,
Yeah.
and it was like printing money for them. But if they're never going to, here's the problem: you either go to a different kind of game, which is too late for you. Your brand is 40K. Or you do an entirely new game with an entirely new scale, with an entirely you remember a game called Inquisitor?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I wish I could have gotten into that. Is that like the 54 millimeter scale game?
Yeah. So, okay, nobody plays in 54 millimeter. If you want, okay, so you can just shut down and go do Inquisitor Games Workshop because, and like the company that has it right now, and I'm actually painting for, is that Parabellum Games.
Okay.
Parabellum. Yeah.
They do Conquest Last Argument of Kings. I played that last Saturday. Did a little Conquest episode on stream and had a lot of fun. And the thing that I like about it is that they've got their own little world, their own scale, and nobody's printing in that scale and nobody's proxying in that scale. And if you want a 1,000 point army, it's $200
Should
bucks,
definitely wear the Tradera mask.
which is a respectable amount of miniatures. The miniatures are bigger.
Look way cool.
And you know, it's just Games Workshop has kind of jumped the shark in terms of things that they can do. They're an established brand, and they're never gonna scrub the market clean of 3D printers, and they're just going to have to accept it.
You know, you're talking about scale, right? You're talking about, you know, a game system with a different scale or whatever the fuck. 3D printers, you could sell Space Marines at, you know, 10 millimeter that are so detailed you can just bump that shit up in your printer to 32 mil.
Yep.
And just go to town, you know. So it's just like,
and they're never. I've seen my friend who plays 30K from time to time. He has an entirely 3D printed army, and I didn't know that they were 3D printed. I just noticed that the guns look different from my official GW ones, and that's the problem. And they've also gone out of their way to make 30K an entirely
Take care, Dean. I'll see you tomorrow.
crap experience by adding all the Necromunda rules. So they have things that they work. Like, you don't see people. I don't know if people printing a lot of what do you call it, Blood Bowl stuff. Blood Bowl's still a good game. There's probably somebody in the world playing Blood Bowl right now, but
a lot of people.
Scrubbing the world clean of 3D printers is never going to happen. And
Right.
you know, I've recently more or less embraced it to a certain extent.
yeah,
More so than ever.
man.
Because you know, it's just like you're getting to a point where you have where I don't have a lot of time. So I did 2 episodes of me building the Predator tanks, and I was like, they should just 3D print the chassis and then let you model the guns on that you want. They used to give you a resin printed chassis, or I think it was a pewter chassis, and then they went to a resin chassis, and then they went to a full plastic kit.
Well, the 40, are you talking 40K stuff?
40K stuff, yeah. 40 and 30K.
Their vehicles have always been plastic. Like, I mean, we're talking Rogue Trader. I mean, the Rhinos and the Land Raiders were all plastic. Everything else was metal, though. All the orc shit was metal.
Yeah, that's the big old metal battle wagon that weighed like a quarter ton. But so let me think here. I believe that the early Rhinos, the early Proteus, like 3rd edition Rhinos and everything, before they went up to the Rhinos that we know in 4th and 5th edition, I believe that the chassis for those were not full plastic. It was like a resin model, and then you added the parts you wanted to it, and then you made your upgrades. But what video did you see this on? Maybe I can critique it or something.
Oh shit. I can't remember the guy who's getting sued. What is his fucking name? He has his company's name. Let me see if I have it on my computer here. Yeah, so I think he's Spanish or Italian, but it's like him and like they were saying shit like expunge 90% of your catalog. You got to sign a cease and desist that you'll never fucking sculpt again. Outrageous insanity. And he yourself.
Yeah, you can't.
But he's putting out like a Well, that was the thing. He was like he like tried to communicate with him. He tried to communicate with him, right? He's like, so years are you actually talking about in my line? And they never fucking responded for like 6 to 9 months. They didn't say anything.
Yeah, because they're just trying to.
And they're like,
trying to scare him with they're just trying to scare him off. You know,
dude, guys, listen. if a lawyer sends you, if you get a letter from a lawyer, you don't have to do a goddamn thing.
That's right.
Nothing. The only time you got to actually do something is if you do a fucking court. I don't know what
Yeah.
the.
I think
And
it's
even
more
then,
it's more than just trying
they'd
to
have to
scare
spend quite a bit of money to subpoena some guy in some other country. How much is that? I mean, you first off, you have to keep a white shoe on retainer. So I imagine the guy that Games Workshop pays, the team, is probably easily $3,000 to $5,000 an hour, and then what, $1,000 an email.
Yeah.
I mean, is it even worth
I
it?
can't pull it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, this it's obviously worth with the guy because I mean it's his livelihood. But yeah, it's like why? Look, I mean, I'm not a GW fan. I stopped playing 40K after second edition, and I just
Same.
get it. I mean, it's the biggest thing on the block. But I mean, if this is how this company treats fucking people, man, fuck that shit. I wouldn't do anything with company at all. Woman, my woman is giving me some sass.
It's sad because, I mean, they could dial back their prices if they wanted to, but they like Hasbro. What's the other company? God, who else is owned by? Oh, even Bandai. They all sold a little bit of share to BlackRock for that BlackRock money infusion, and they have to have that 3% growth per year. Otherwise, they can BlackRock can cite risk and sue them. And Games Workshop, they're a small fish in a big pond when it comes to Bandai and Hasbro. I didn't know if you knew this, but
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering and Gundam tend to be way more popular than 40K any day of the week.
Oh yeah. And they both of them are not. Both of them are younger than 40K.
And so
Well,
they
Gundam's not technically.
No, I think
Gundam's been around since the 70s, but yeah.
I think Gundam's been around
around
since like the 70s.
Yeah,
That's what I just said.
Gundam's been around since the 70s. It has all kinds of fans, and anime has always been an in thing since 2010. It's been bigger and bigger since 2010. So you can
I meant from
rely
a
on.
manufacturing standpoint. They didn't start manufacturing Gundam models or action figures or toys until the 90s, I want to say.
They started that. I think they started manufacturing the toys in the eight. They had toys in the 80s and the
No.
model kits and the model kits got big in the 90s.
Yeah.
They were.
I first started building the kits in I want to say 2001 or 2 was when I first discovered them, but I knew they'd been around, especially in Japan. They were probably around a lot longer. But I know the movies. The first movie came out like 74, 75, I want to say, and that within a year they had Japanese toys for Mobile Suit Gundam.
So I remember my first job was in a toy store in the mall, and they sold 40K stuff. They sold this was the bullshit thing. I got hired by this dickwad, and everybody they show me how to run the store. So I'm alone for 2 weeks while everybody, except for like the owner's wife who came in twice in that one entire 2 week stretch, was on vacation. And then when they got back, they fired me. I should have robbed the shit out of that place, but they had a huge section to Gundam because that was one of their bread and butter things besides Madame Alexander's dolls. But yeah, so that was like 1997 when I had that job.
My first job was at a comedy, so I know how that is, man.
I tried.
Awesome.
That was down the hall in the mallway.
My
mall.
first job was cutting trees at 13 for $20 and a hamburger every day.
$20 and a hamburger every day.
Carl's Jr. And I'm pretty sure it was a combo meal, but basically $20 and lunch.
Mine was
of which I had to hand over to my parents. As soon as I walked in the door, they had their hand out.
Oh.
We were very poor at the time.
Oh.
And then my second job was telemarketing at 16, and I had to get a work permit for that. And that sucked. Oh god, that sucked. I hated
Oh
that
shit,
job so much.
GM Code. That's a motherfucker we don't see enough of.
No.
He ain't
He's
making
been
much
working
videos
behind the
anymore.
scenes. He's been working
Behind the
behind the
scenes,
scenes.
that's it.
Yeah, Janet, it was rough.
Me
Yeah,
and my
second edition.
I think we all.
I have this theory that the second edition of almost every game is the best, and then everything that comes after that is crap. That's just me.
So I actually beg to differ on that, so that I was reading the what do you call it? 5th edition Warhammer Fantasy Rules.
Okay.
And I was reading those and I was just comparing them to the old world rules. I'm like, how is this? I mean, 5th edition being written by Rick Priestley, I will give that there. But
Yeah.
like I read 3 chapters and I retained the information. Like just absorbed it. And I remember like, okay, if I'm gonna move and I have heavy armor and a shield, I'm -1 to movement, so my guys only move 3 inches. And the wheels are straightforward. Okay. I'm -1/4 inch for how I measure from. So I keep one end static and I move the wheel and I measure for the wheel. Very easy. And then when I have to declare all my charges and everything like that. But the move chapter alone was like 4.5, 5 pages. Then I moved on to shooting. Shooting's very straightforward. And then I moved over to I started to move into close combat. And it seems like whenever I want to play Old World, I have to research the game because I can't fucking remember how to play it because that's how poorly written it is. And if you go back and you read the 6th edition rule book, really tight
I hear that shit.
So they can do it. It's
What?
just that we don't want to pay royalties ever. But I never got to play 2nd edition.
All right, so
fantasy.
I found that dude. Okay, his company is it's called I have the link. I'm gonna shoot the link on the
Private chat, and then I'll post it.
yeah. See you, Diver. You should yeah. You should take a look at it because you're into it. You're into the fucking 40K stuff. You're kind of into the
I only have
but, I mean, it
orcs, and
sounds
they
like a
have been
fucking bunch of
officially
bullshit.
on a. So I can tell you now, I haven't played what do you call it, 40K for a year and 3 months now. My orcs have been on a shelf that long because we all quit last summer, I think. So probably a year and a month, and I'm going on a year and 3 months of never having played 40K. We tried again, and it just didn't work. Oh, is this the private thing right here? All right, let me.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it in the regular chat. So
yeah. So
else.
I said.
But if you guys want to check it out, you're
and that's the actual guy that like. Yeah, it's
okay.
it's
I got
definitely
paused and I can
some
watch that.
heavy-handed overreach by Jew. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that'd be something to talk about on your show. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's bullshit.
It just, it's why? I mean, I get it. They want their money and they want what they think is theirs, but even they weren't the originators of the term Space Marine. That was Fantasy Games Unlimited.
Exactly.
So
fucking Heinlein. Heinlein was talking about fucking Space Marines. The fucking 60s.
Yeah.
But it's just like they just.
It's just
like
I think they're so, things like that are symptoms of or signs of they know the end is nigh. You know what I mean?
It's signs of decay. It's like the AI market. right now. DeepSeek is beating everyone. I think Grok is a contender, but DeepSeek is doing more with less AI data centers and less power behind it. And the only thing AI is going to do is it's going to help you
I don't know
do
what you're
some
talking about.
office tools. I
We were talking about that earlier. Like we've got a friend who makes AI music, and it's great. Okay, not all of it's my cup of
Oh, that
tea,
shit's
but
awesome.
Bear's channel is got some great stuff, and he's done it all himself. In the course of like 6 months, he's made about 500 songs, and most of them are really good. He's probably got a lot more that we don't get to hear because they suck. Same thing with art. But I was like, a couple of months ago, I asked Chat GP. No, it wasn't even Chat. It was Grok because I'm working on like a superhero game. Not really a game, a story, but like a. Anyways, I had it go in to the universe, the metaverse, whatever they fucking call it, the interwebs, and give me a list of every single superpower ever used in history, TV, movies, comic books, etc., and put them in a tier list. I shit you not, less than 2 minutes later, it gave me about 40 pages of information, all not statted out, but tiered out, from the wimpiest powers to the most cosmic level superpowers. It was
Grok is good for that kind of stuff. I tried using Chat GPT and it wouldn't read. I put a PDF in it and then I found out it can't read things out loud. And I thought AI was going to revolutionize the way that I read rules for games because I wanted it to read the fucking fantasy rule book to me. So I could sort that mess out. But I'm going to wrap it up on this Games Workshop thing. So me and my buddy, we were talking today about we talk off and on. Like today's subject was our buddy Bubbles, and he called him. That guy was asleep. He's like, "Oh, it's 4 o'clock. I guess I should wake up. It's 4 o'clock p.m. time."
what is he, a
And
drug dealer?
This is
He's
like
an
a
air traffic controller.
37-year-old man, and he's wondering why he's broke. And Anthony, being a really good friend, went and he bought him the starter box to what do you call it? What do you call the game that does Infinity? They have a fantasy version, and that's what they're going to play. They're going to play that for a little while. I'm not doing anything new because I'm going on vacation. But
Where are you going?
I'm going to Japan on November 4th.
Nice.
No shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
You need to hook up with JVC, man.
JVC is going to take me around, and then what do you call it?
That's awesome.
I'm going to meet Josh over at Crown of
What's
Command.
CBC?
JVC Paints. Have you not heard of his YouTube channel?
No, I haven't.
Oh, hold
James,
on. I'll grab a
he's a
link
cool
for you real
motherfucker.
quick. Yeah,
That's
give me
awesome, dude.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I'd probably
It's
get
cool
a lot of
because
but still.
James is like a Canadian expat that's been living in Japan for fucking like 20 years or some shit.
Really?
So, and he's just like us, man. He's fucking great. Fucking metalhead. He's like 20 feet tall and he's living in Japan. He's like a fucking giant.
Here it is for you, Shadow. JVC Paints. He's also the cool thing is this is my chance. I get to meet two gold demonists. So at the same time, both of them. One's an Australian. His name's Josh.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And here's his channel. And if you like the old look, he paints all that. He's a boutique painter, and so
Okay.
hopefully I can learn a trick or two from him
All right.
on painting. But if you remember what it was like to look at an old white dwarf and say, "Oh, I wish my models looked like that," that's Crown right there. But the other conversation, the other side of the conversation that we had was Games Workshop hasn't been able to plug in anything new to the game and make it work without breaking the game and dumping it on the community. I'd have to say that they are in their death throes because they have lost their ability to write, and so they're going towards what do you call it, lawsuits, so that they don't
Welcome
have
to the
to
show,
compete
X-Arm.
with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've lost their way, and it was probably a couple years back or more. I mean, they originally lost their way around third edition with the idea of no more, um, scratch building and doing your own stuff. Building your own vehicles and
Yeah.
units and things like that. That was I get it. I totally get it. From a money making perspective, but what was it? Black Library. Did you ever get that magazine? It was like a thick cardboarded covered magazine, uh, put out by Armor Cat.
Citadel Journal. Citadel Journal.
No, no, it wasn't that one. It
No.
was a black
Oh,
and
okay.
white. It mostly featured things like their giant freaking 40K Titans.
Yeah, that
in
was
full.
Citadel Journal.
You
I've
sure?
I had all
I've
that shit.
never
Yeah, I
heard
had
of
all.
Citadel Journal. It's a little before my time.
It's like it was like a small, almost like a journal
No,
size.
no, 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 no. It
No.
was
Oh,
full.
okay.
It was full size black and white, slick cardboard cover,
Oh,
with
okay.
all kinds of, you know,
What?
yeah. I think it was called
What?
Black Library. I could be wrong, uh, but it had a lot of articles, on scratch building and kit bashing and just doing your own thing, making up units and tanks and Armor Cast, had tons of ads in it and articles on their latest tank model, which really wasn't a model. It was just freaking a big chunk of resin in the shape of a tank back then, like
I
the
remember.
Falcon
I
and the
remember
Tempest.
Tony Cottrell's fucking conversions were badass, man. He'd make all sorts of shit for 40K back in the day.
No, that
Take
sounds
care,
like
off, dude. I'll see you tomorrow, man.
a treat. So you also see this from like Microsoft, Apple. They don't want to, and Nvidia and everything here. We can't let China get our chips because we don't want to
Okay, maybe
innovate.
it was something else.
We don't want to innovate to make better products than the Chinese. Like if I have to get a new phone, I'm getting a Huawei phone. I'd rather have the CCP spying on me and selling my data rather than my own FBI because I really think that the FBI is out to cause harm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong
Just get a
there.
burner phone. Fuck it. I'm still
But
sporting the
it's like
burner
we don't want
phones
to.
every month.
We don't. We as a people here in America, we don't want to innovate anymore. It seems like we've gotten to a point where we're all so comfortable that we don't want to. We don't want to
Take care,
explore,
off, dude. I will see you tomorrow. Um,
and that's where Games Workshop is.
Cal, ask him what was the name of the old black and white magazine. Maybe he can tell me because I missed that magazine. I loved it. I had a bunch of them. It was just that was like the golden era of GW when they right around.
You could build like whirlwinds and devastators and the thunderhawk out of cardboard shit. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. It was the same era as uh, Advanced Hero Quest and uh, Man of War and the original Necromunda. Just all about the spirit of building your own shit because they hadn't gotten around to it yet, and in a lot of cases had no intention of doing it uh, until later, I guess.
Hey, I got a question for Diver. Diver, you like a metalhead. Do you go see live music anymore, bro?
I'd like to. The problem we have here's another. I should blog about this. Is getting downtown. Have you noticed that whenever you go downtown, they make it like so freaking hard to park that you don't even want to go there anymore because you're afraid you're just going to get ticketed, and they like deliberately do it. And then here's the other problem. I sat in on a city council meeting once and they're like, well, we don't want to pull too much business away from downtown by reopening up that venue that we've just said. They have a historic building that they're not going to demolish. They wanted to turn it into a concert venue, but they were talking about what it might do to downtown if we started to peel away from the complex.
Oh shit, that's such
Most
bullshit.
towns are
But you can
Yes,
park up.
Milton Bradley did, Omen. Yeah. Battle Masters and Advanced Hero. Well, actually, Advanced Hero Quest was GW. Hero Quest was Milton Bradley, and I think they might have done one other game, but I can't for the life of me remember it.
Space Crusade.
Thank you, thank you. I wish I
Yeah,
had got a
Space
chance to
Crusade.
play that game. That looked like a lot of fun. Hero Quest was fun. Advanced Hero Quest was fun. Uh, all the games back
They're
then were
all
great, and you could, and not only could you, but you were encouraged to add to the game however you saw fit, as opposed to, oh, you can't do that. Not tournament legal or whatever.
well. See, I think that's when everything like went to shit. Is when all these fucking rule systems turned into tournament fucking games. That's what it
You
was
can blame
about.
Americans for that.
Tournament
We're actually
play.
competitive, whereas I heard we're less. It's turning around more where the Brits are more competitive than we are, but we really started that here in the States. And
Yeah,
Adepticon and
I get that.
LVO, I think, is taking place right now over in Vegas again in October this month, actually.
Swear to
But
God,
it's
I'm not a big. I don't follow it to me, but I get all the gist about like the cheating scandals and the guy that says, "No, you can't do that because you didn't say the word facile
Simon
instead of
Says.
whatever the fuck." Yeah, it's just like sounds so stupid.
How
Now,
are you going to
are
go to
these
sleep
are
if
these?
you keep chugging that Coke?
Oh, it's a diet soda.
No,
Yeah.
God,
Does
dude, I can't drink caffeine.
So I don't
I
drink
can't
coffee,
drink.
man. I can't do coffee, so I gotta drink a
No.
soda to stay fucking awake.
All I drink is water, and I'm out. I'm gonna have to
You're
go
out of
get some
All
water.
right.
water.
Well,
California's finally out of
I
water.
won't hold Shadow on here anymore. I always appreciate whenever I'm allowed to come on. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to hear me prattle on. I've got.
What are you talking about? DM James loves you.
Oh, well, I love him. He's a good guy. It's just the problem I have is his brother. Me and him get texting back and forth, and he's being a bad influence. We
Hungar's the
have
best. What are
we
you
meet.
talking
Let's just say me and Hungar have reached a few clips on the internet that we should not have jumped down.
about? That's fair. Hungar's great too. I was
He
hanging
is.
out with DM James this morning for about 3 hours with Bear and who else was with us? God, I can't even remember.
What's his
It's
name?
someone I haven't seen in a while. Is Bear.
What channel does Bear have? What's his channel? I've never seen it.
Bear the Gen X GM. Yeah,
Oh, I kept going to Bear Force One, and I was never him.
no. I just warn you, he's a little. Uh,
Sensitive.
yeah,
He's
you may rub
Canadian.
him the wrong way. Yeah, uh, I just learned what his soft squishy parts are, and I just try to just poke him a little, not like not
So so Omen brings up the point. I mean, are these 40K events? Is there a purse if you win, or is it just some fucking trophy?
Um, there is some kind of a prize purse if you win the overall event. I don't know what that entails. Then there's the crystal brush or the painting competition
Mhm.
that goes with that, and there is so at Adepticon there's a purse. There is a purse that you can win. It's barely. I think it's like $5,000. Like, congratulations, you spent 6 months painting a figure, and all you get is a stupid trophy and 5K.
Yeah,
And
but
you
here's
had to
5K. That's a quarter of the money you spent on fucking coming to this
travel to
tournament.
come to Chicago, Illinois,
Right?
Schlomberg, which is like the shit. Like, here's oh my God, like, that place looks like a ghetto, and it's supposed to be the rich side of town.
It's not like with other sports and other events where you can get sponsorships and merchandising deals. Do the Forrest Gump thing. Buy this paddle or whatever. There's nothing like that for painting competitions or Magic the Gathering tournaments or 40K. It's not the same thing, but man, someday, right? No. Well, do they still have Magic the Gathering tournaments on ESPN 3?
Oh, I have no
ESPN
idea.
ESPN 5. It's on ESPN 5.
Okay.
That would be cool. I would actually rather watch that because the only thing holding the NBA together is literally the insults that get hurled back between Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, you can always try the WNBA and count your green schlongs that get tossed on the court. I
That's
thought
hilarious. They arrest
That
they
was fucking
arrest the
epic.
guy for throwing a green dildo onto the basketball court.
that was
And the
one of the
kicker is that
funniest
the
sporting
thing
events.
disappeared and was never seen from again.
That was literally one of the funniest things that's ever happened in a sporting event, and they're acting like it's the worst thing ever. Obviously, it's a little hard to explain to the kids, you know, and God help you if you have to, but you gotta admit that was fucking funny.
It's fucking hilarious. I wonder if it's
What is
something
that?
written
Oh,
on
it's
it.
just a
That'd be
green
great.
pudding tube. Ignore it. That happens all the time.
Right?
You- okay, man.
It's just a rubber.
My,
It's a green rubber banana.
my woman's giving me the fucking guilt trip, so I gotta go hang out with her. So, Shadow, always a pleasure.
You too, man. Wait till you see what I'm painting for your challenge.
George,
One thing,
Good
but I'm
seeing ya.
paint up. Oh yeah, fucking Diver Yeet, painting up something for my October Halloween challenge, bitch.
Oh God.
You never do. You never do my fucking. This is like year number 5.
Hold on. Here's the problem. Okay, so what do I need to paint?
Just like a monster.
Okay,
I know you got some monsters or some shit.
All right, I will take the easy way out and I will paint this skeleton. There you go.
Motherfucker. Hey, that's cool.
Okay, that's all I got. I mean, I'm
Eh,
like,
You can even make it a weird World War II skeleton. To paint a swastika on that shit. Now it's weird World War II.
I'll find some if I have. Oh wait a minute, I have a night goblin squig hopper boss that I could paint.
There you go.
I could do that.
Make it Japanese. You can put the rising sun on their shit, and they can be weird war.
I can do
I'm
that.
going with
That's about
Halloween.
it. That's about all I have.
The
And
other
then,
the other option is to do something Halloween oriented. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the most classic Halloween thing you can think of, and I'm just going to say that and leave it at that. Hopefully, it'll get here in time so I can paint it. But yeah,
All right. Well, you got till November 1st.
go give your.
Oh, also, if any of you chuckleheads find yourself in North Texas, or I should Central Texas, next week, Millennium Con is
Yeah, I'm going to have to
happening.
miss
That's
that
the
one.
big
Yeah.
con here.
Quick
We'll be
question.
a bunch of good.
Oh, for you actually, Weird. How close are you to the Alamo?
Few hours, probably like 3, because
3.
we're
Damn.
north. We're about an hour north of Austin, so you gotta go Austin, and then it's about an hour or so south of Antonio.
I know that's
where-
Are
not
you coming
stupid.
down?
I've always wanted to see the Alamo. No, if I go to Texas, I'll be sure to hit you up. But I want to make plans sometime to see
Yeah.
the Alamo.
Okay, last
There's
thing
not
before
much
you go.
to it, dude.
Where do we post the images? Where do we post the images, Brian?
Oh, go to Brian at weirdworldwar2.com. There you go. Just send me your shit. I'll make a video of it.
I'm just going to send it to you
Showcase
on
everything.
Discord.
All right.
Or
Well, you gentlemen have a
anywhere
good night.
that I'm all over the. I'm all over the net.
Take care
so.
and make sure you. I do you even have an Instagram, Shadow?
Oh yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah. I never go on it, but I do.
All right, guys. You guys keep it weird.
Oh,
Take care, Brian. I'll talk to you real soon.
Brian, are you following Shadow on Instagram?
I don't think so. Oh, wait, Shadow and Sun, right, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Let me look for it.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, but definitely, Diver, check out that. See what you think. You might get a good video out of it.
It's all Sonic the
All right, guys.
Hedgehog stuff. I
Keep it
can't find. You'll have to DM me, and you can get one of my links on one of my. There it is. I don't know. Nope, that's not you guys. Or is it? No, this is Australian DMs. Okay, I'm lost. I better get off now. You'll have to. If you have one, DM, just DM me. You
Okay.
can find a link to that real quick on any one of my videos, and
Okay.
then I can send you the PSA that I did.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I never use Instagram. I'm there, uh, but I haven't used it in years just because I'm trying to do the other stuff. Brian, give the wife a hug for us. HT, it was really nice seeing you again.
All
I
right.
am going
Thank
to
you for
shut her
having
down
me.
because I've been here almost 4 hours, and
I
normally
know.
after
I
George.
feel terrible keeping you on like
No, no,
this.
no, 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 no. This is great. I had a lot of fun today. I hope George did too. Uh, he's been really quiet, painting away. That's that's the goal. The
Oh
only thing I
yeah.
wanted was to get George off on the right foot. I want to see some pictures in Discord. Uh, okay, that looked good. It was quick, but that looked. I mean, you only held it there for like a blink, but
Oh, yeah, this is one of the ones I did the white spray paint on the gray.
okay.
And yeah, so this is. I should have thought of the color scheme first.
Take care, Cal. I will see you
But
Sunday, I hope, or Saturday. I don't know what we're doing. If we're playing Star Wars or not on Saturday, because I don't know if Omen's going to be playing Star Wars on Saturday or not. If he's here, then we are. If not,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The week after, I won't be able.
that's okay because that's about when, or is Omen's going on vacation in a little bit, and in which case, a bunch of my stuff is going to come to a screeching halt as well. Plus, the holidays are coming, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, you
Colin,
have a good night.
you
I'll
are
see you
always
later.
welcome on this show. You got carte blanche like everybody else.
All right. You have a good one, Shadow. See you later.
Take
Nice
care,
meeting
man.
you, sir. Bye.
See you guys. See ya.
And George, I hope you had fun tonight. You're awful quiet toward the end,
Oh yeah.
but no, don't
Sorry.
sweat it, man. Don't sweat it.
Getting-
But I am gonna say goodnight, everybody out there in TV land. This was a lot of fun. I got some painting done, but I'm pacing myself so I can show George next steps with you know the next techniques and whatnot. I don't know what we're doing next Thursday. If we're going to do a book club or not. Um, I may hold the book club off until next year when we can start working on the classics, Gilgamesh and things like that. But as we
Well, that'd be
get
cool.
closer to the holidays, I know it's going to be harder to schedule things, and we'll see. We'll take it by ear. And I will have a video for you guys tomorrow morning. It's going to be a short, weird video on something that nobody cares anything about, but I'm doing it anyways. Thanks, Nerdy. Nerdy, you could have popped in too. I put the link out tonight, which is a rare thing because of obvious reasons. But yeah, if you guys ever want to be in the show, just say, hey, can I come on? If there's room for six of us, then you guys are all welcome. But I need to go use the little painter's room, little GM's room, because normally I go every hour, but for some reason tonight I got lucky. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening and have a great weekend, everybody.